ETM Hotel, Randy Sean. Welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to appreciate everybody tuning into Science with Sean. Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're actually live. I want to get into a couple of things that I think that people need to really fully understand in the middle of a pandemic. We're having to re-explain some of these things, but um, we just need people to understand certain terminology and what it actually means, especially for fully vaccinated or naturally infected people. Um, Most people don't understand how the immune system operates, and they fail to comprehend if their immune system is working or not working, and so forth. Um, I'm not really going to too much get into excuse me, uh, the immune system in this particular conversation. I wanted to focus more on some terms, but also breakthrough cases and breakthrough infections and what that means in the middle of Omicron season, if we want to label it that. So as you come in, please like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. We actually live. And we're going to just pretty much go over what we go over. As always, all my sources for anything that I actually do, if I present information, the information is going to be in the description of the video. If I do a presentation, you're going to see my sources at the bottom of my screen or the slides, and then my references at the end of my presentation. Right? So I don't talk too far left or too far right from the information that I'm actually referring to. Okay. I was having a conversation on Facebook with a couple of people in regard to them saying that I caught COVID again. You know, they were saying that they had caught COVID again, and they needed to, you know, they were saying how their immune system was working and functioning and things of that nature. And I'm like, how could you measure that? You don't necessarily know how well your immune system is actually defending itself. Before I go any further, Daquan, bro, for real, that's non-cipher, bro. You know what I mean? I asked you if there was a cooling process. Did the Earth have a cooling process? And you said yes. So that means in order for something, from what we know now, right? Based on what we know, in order for something to cool, something had to be hot. The Earth was uninhabitable. So something caused something to happen, and it occurred, and a cooling process transpired behind that. So let me knock this out real quick. I simply asked what I asked because, according to Congo teaching, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire. So what they just calling it a fire in the solar system. On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in three main layers or zones, depending on if it's a green, gray, or red state. So they labeled it green, gray, or red state. Green or breathing planets. He said this is what they refer to as living planets. They call them green planets. Then they call them gray planets without life. And then they call planets that's uninhabitable red planets. Basically saying they're still burning, aka they're uninhabitable, right? So in the source that I use, African Cosmology of Bantu Congo Principles of Living by Fukuyao, I actually provide the sources and went through it on the screen. But Ankh wants to say that I was wrong about something. So if we go and we read the Big Bang Theory in its initial statement to understand what was going on, right? Two things occurred, as he stated. When the two things occurred, something transpired behind that, right? So you're explaining those things. Then he says, well, they just like the Christians. Excuse me. I need some water. He says, excuse me, they're just like the Christians. The Christians was even trying to explain how the earth came to be in the Bible. I said, man, this ain't nothing like that. They ain't making up no creation story. The Bible is making up a whole creation story based on a belief of some. I don't even know. I really don't even care. People can make up in the creation story that this is what they do. They use mythology to explain real events. Ankh's argument is that no African, no Chinaman, no any man knew how the earth came to be. They wasn't here to see it, right? If that's your argument, Ankh, which is what you said on the show, right? If that's your argument, then how the freak are we? No, not how the freak. Why in the freak are we listening to astrophysics? They were not here. They weren't here. So why are we listening to them? They don't know how this thing transpired. They clearly are explaining a chain of events that hypothetically occurred based on a little bit of information, or some, not a little bit, but some data that they uncovered and found that could only come from a place outside of this place that we currently inhabit. Exactly. Nobody's seen microevolution. So what Neil deGrasse Tyson is doing is nothing different than what Africans were doing in the Congo among the Bantu. It is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process. They're mapping the universe. This is clearly their perspective. And to shun it and say, well, they don't know what the hell they was talking about. But it sounds very similar to what astrophysicists say about how the earth came to be. They're just using different words. So when they're mapping the universe, the Congo is saying something similar to what astrophysicists are saying today that they now know. And you're saying, well, they ain't know. They don't, this ain't okay. All right. You argue with yourself about that. Exactly, ATL. It's called projection. So in their worldview, right? How they saw the universe as we see and know. It's clearly telling you, for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as, it goes on to say, Luku, Luwalamba, in Zambi, which is God cooked dough, i.e., the magnetic matters, the Big Bang. That is what the source says. It is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process satellites and planets. It is the process of the cosmic expanding fires. According to the Congo teachings, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire. In our solar system, on the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in three main layers or zones, depending on if it is in the green, gray, or red state. Green or breathing planet. Green or breathing planets are living planets because they have completed the four great formation stages of the Congo cosmogram known as the Kinga dia Congo. The key word to these planets is greenness, the vitality, giving nature. Green planets, like our own planet Earth, can be thought of as the oldest planets to the solar system. The Earth, for example, can be seen for the Bantu people as the oldest planet of the solar system. Green planets occupy the center of systems in our expanding universe. The expanding creative fire energy that departed from the first event, or the Big Bang, was not an experimental explosion from a laboratory, say to the Bantu Congo. I'm going to say that one more time. The expanding creative fire energy that departed from this event, or the Big Bang, was not an experimental explosion from a laboratory, say the Bantu Congo. It was a natural, imperative order to bring a transformation process into being throughout the universe and into all its planets until their full maturity, i.e., be able to breathe, give, carry life. To our present knowledge, our planet, the Earth, is the only planet known that has so far fulfilled this order. It is a green planet. It breathes and does not only give life, but is able to sustain it up until now as well. So where I'm confused at, brother Ankh, where in what I just said do you have an argument? You're trying to project your whatever you want to explain, right? Because you're going to rely on someone else. So you're trying to project something on how the Bantu saw the universe. This is the way the Bantu see it and know it. It ain't got to be the way the Bantu see it and know it based on Neil deGrasse Tyson or other prominent astrophysicists. This is the way the Bantu people in the Congo see it. How similar in how they see it does that compare to how Neil deGrasse Tyson explains the Big Bang Theory or the Big Bang or the Earth coming to being? This planet that we live on is a green planet. It's breathing life. Is that true or false? Where is the disagreement? Gray planets are planets without life. Do you disagree or agree with that? They're just calling it a gray planet. They're saying there's no life over there. There's no life at Pluto. Is there life at Pluto? Are they wrong about that? Did the Earth not go through a phase of transformation to come into full maturity, as the Bantu are explaining? Do you have a problem with that? That's what I'm saying. You're not listening. You're too emotional about how you feel about it. You're so anti something that you can't even take in what they're saying. You're trying to discredit them and say they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Well, how the hell are they sitting here and explaining the same thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson is explaining it, but just in a different perspective from their worldview, because these are old Bantu teachings. And they say that. I read it. It clearly says that. Then it goes on to say what red planets are, hot planets. Red or hot planets are actual burning planets. They are still matters in fusion without a clearly defined shape or form. They are at their primitive or first stage of planetary formation process, their Big Bang stage. These planets form the actual last frontier of a system such as our own. Beyond these frontiers are infinite dark fields to be invaded by future firing process or expanding systems. How do you argue against that? Where is the pseudo in that? You told me that I don't stand on the stuff that I said, that I was wavering one way or another. How, Sway? You wanted to have this conversation, but you really didn't even listen to what was being said. You ran so far as to say something else. Then I turned around and I played videos, right, with astrophysicists saying similar things using the data that they have today to clearly give a American perspective on how things came to how this planet became to be, or what we know as the Big Bang. I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words. Where's the argument here? You wanted me to sit on the pseudo killers and explain this? No, why? I've already did it. Then you try to charge me with something that you can't charge. This is why I told you you don't listen. Then you was like, you're trying to ask me all these questions. I was asking you all those questions, Ankh, to show you that there's no disagreement. I asked you clearly, Ankh, how did the earth come to be? And you said two things happened and they met up and then a reaction came out of that. But you was trying to be real careful in what you was trying to explain because you didn't want to say something as that sounds similar to a magmatic matters. You didn't want to say the universe as we see and know it is as the result of a primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as God. This little Bantu proverb that they use called God cooked dough, i.e., the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. You didn't want to say that. It is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process. So when I said I said, was the earth not at hot at some point? You was like, they don't know that. They don't know if the hot is not. And then I said, well, did the earth cool? Yeah, there was a cool. Yeah, it was cooling. I'm confused. So did the earth cool or not? These two things that clashed. How did the earth as we know it, how did it come to be? Something happened. An event happened. Is that inaccurate? That is what the Congo are saying. They're saying an event occurred in and around it. It says the earth as we know it. It says, in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of a primitive event that occurred in and around it. It is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process. Then I don't see where you're going to have an argument at. You can find one if you want to. If you want to cherry pick some stuff, feel free to do it. Because I'm going to come right back because I understand. I got books on the Big Bang too, my guy. I even went and pulled African Times, which also gives a clear explanation of how the earth came to be, using the sources that y'all like to use. Neil deGrasse Tyson is sourced in chapter 3 of this book. Hold up. Let me slide. Not chapter 3. I said chapter 3. It's chapter 1, Origins. It's called Origins, Universe and Galaxies. So Neil deGrasse Tyson is in here. Lawrence M. Krauss is in here. Edward Harrison is in here. Robert T. Kirshner is in here. Again, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Donald Goldsmith is in here. Bradley W. Carroll and Dale Osley is in here. Joseph Silk is in here. W.H. Freeman is in here. Again, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Donald Goldsmith is in here. I mean, like, all right, so now that we know that okay, it is written that this was part of the cosmos that we know it of the universe, this galaxy, the solar system, and the sun structured itself over 13 billion years ago. There was a time when only blackness prevailed in everything and all things. In the beginning, all was black. There was no universe, but there was dark black energy, the immortal unity and struggle of female, male matter, and spirits, pure energy and impulse that created itself out of itself. Blackness and darkness led to light, not the other way around. The universe is constantly in motion. It has no days off, moving at colossal speed, stars and suns with their own rings of planets. They revolve on the axis and turn in their entire galaxy as it turns on its axis. Each star is a blazing fire, solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning, hot agitation with colossal fire. Fiery heat waves passing over the turbulent stars. Burning hot surface. Galactic fire streams shoot out as gigantic streams of internal heat, pulsating, throbbing, illuminating, pouring forth in space in the form of radiation, giving life to planets and their moons' physical gravitational fields connected with particles, allowing them to interact and thus exist. The source for that is Maya Y.D. Bazinna, Daroma, Garcia Barreto, J.A. E.I. Vorobovo. This is from the Astrophysical Journal, The Detention of Non-Thermal Radio Continuum Spokes and the Study of Star Formations in the Cartwheel. And then the other source is the Astronomical Journey, Optimal Imaging and Spectroscopy of the Edge of SBC Galaxy. Evidence for a galactic wind in a peculiar triaxular bulge. This is also Cosmology 101, the study of the universe, NASA. I just finished The Matrix 2 myself. That mother long as hell. So what I'm trying to figure, let me continue. Without electromagnetic fields, nothing would connect electrons and protons and atoms into molecules and molecules. This is breaking down the science based on all of those sources, dealing with astrophysics. These books are coming from astrophysical journals, astronomical journals, right? This is one thing. See, I'm using the science here, right? The science from African Times. I'm using that book. I feel bad for you now, Valley Hebrew. I don't need to send you shit. I'm clear. Nah, I don't need to talk to you. We done talking tonight. I'm clearly stating these things. I'm going to say it one more time. The universe is constantly in motion. It has no days off, moving at colossal speeds. Stars and suns with their own rings of planets. They revolve on their axis and turn with their entire galaxy as it turns on its own axis. Each star is a blazing fiery solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning, hot agitation with colossal fiery heat waves passing over the turbulent stars, burning hot surface. For the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as God cooked dough, i.e. the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. It is the result of expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process, satellites and planets. It is the process of cosmic expanding fires. According to the Congo teachings, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in a solar system. On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in three main layers or zones, depending on if it is in a green, gray, or red state. The Bantu ain't going into the specifics as in the creation of the universe based on the astrophysics. It ain't getting too detailed like that, but it is clearly saying what this just said. Each star is a blazing, fiery solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning, hot agitation with colossal fiery heat waves passing over the turbulent star's burning hot surface. Where is the contention? Where is the contention, bro? This is why I say you ain't listening. You want to argue, but the astrophysics, the experts in their journals are saying something hot was happening. There was this Very blazing, fiery solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning, hot agitation with colossal fiery heat waves passing through. They're going through all of that. Matter and antimatter flows down a majestic cosmic ladder from universes to superclusters, galaxies and star clusters, quasars, pulsars, stars, solar systems, planets, and celestial bodies to molecular complex crystals, molecules, atoms, elementary nuclear part. It's no, ain't no ancient African kicking none of that right there. We clear on that. They ain't kicking none of that right there. Right? From this universe came our galaxy, then our solar system. Within this solar system, there formed the sun, 9 planets, moons, comets, with all being electromagnetically held together by precisely balanced gravitational forces of attraction and repulsion. So this goes back to the universe as we see and know it is the result of a primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as the God cooked dough, i.e., the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. It is the result of expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process, satellites and planets. So everything that I was basically saying that's stated in these astrophysical journals, with all this turbulence and all this stuff going on, that is clearly a different summary of what this heavy ass thing is saying. Clearly. And dude gone, bro. Clearly. Billions of stars, the organizing bodies of any solar system, are suns with their own rings or planets revolving on their axis and turning the entire galaxy as it turns its own. Each star, a blazing, fiery solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning hot agitation with colossal fire heat waves passing over the turbulent stars' burning hot surfaces. Galactic fire streams shoot out as gigantic streams of internal heat, pulsating, throbbing, illuminating, and pouring forth into space the form of radiation giving life to planets and their moons. Gravity connects the particles, holding them together, clinging vines in stormy weather, allowing them to interact, grow, and develop. The source, see Neil deGrasse Tyson and Donald Goldsmith's Origins, 14 billion years of cosmic evolution. Also source, see Lawrence Krauss, A Universe from Nothing. So you disagree with Krauss and Neil deGrasse Tyson? Or you disagree with someone summing up their worldview by saying, for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as God cooked dough, the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. It is the result of expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process, satellites and planets. It is the process of cosmic expanding fires. According to the Congo teachings, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in our solar system. On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in 3 main layers or zones, depending on if it is in green, gray, or a red state. What up, Panther?
Hey, peace, bro. What's going on?
Man. Listen, I'm trying to see where Fukuyao got this wrong, because I was told that it was wrong. So I'm trying to feel like, so if he summed up basically what science has went out and shown, what does that say about the Congo teachings? Are you saying that they're just wrong? I've given you every source. Everything that I read, I give a source. I just gave the source again. Everybody knows what I'm reading because in the video that I show, the source was in the video. But they're not the only ones. So if the Africans can't explain it, right? Oh, you going into God and the Bia? I haven't grabbed that. But hey, I'm gonna say that's wrong. They don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, okay. Let's just go really quickly. This is the book After God is the Bia by John Anechekume. Let's see what he says about the Big Bang. There's a story about their all in all. His name's Chuku. Chuku had a sacred building. Long and short of it, no one was allowed in this building. When the building was entered by his wife, it created an explosion. It's called Odachi Ka Odachi. The explosion, as a result, as they describe it, I'm reading, as the result of a gigantic explosion and breakage, the planets, satellites, stars, and everything came into being. Each one of them was a circular or spherical form, which means they don't believe in flat Earth. The Odagini, Okwaulu, which is the Igbo version of magnetic fields and balances involving into mystical breaks that prevented things like planets and satellites and stars from crashing into each other in heavenly bodies, from falling into Ikele Mumo, spiritual fathomless and abyss. This was applied by Chuku. And there's more proverbs and stuff, but one of them says, Upaka Anwu Chakatulu Oku Akapakapi Uma Yawelu Ju Ofia, the oil bean pod, which, when subjugated to extensive heat, explodes, flinging its seeds far and wide into bushes and forests. This is how they explained the Big Bang.
That's another source. So we went from the Congo.
That's Nigeria.
Right.
That's amongst the Igbo people.
So
you can also go to the Yoruba people. They talk about this too. They even have a word, a name for Olodumare, Akamba, which literally means Big Bang. It's the only translation for it. If you read the story which talks about the concepts of Oro and Ella, and Ella having a wish to communicate, Ella produced a loud cracking sound. They translate this as sound of transformation, and it takes place in the universe. And this is an Itan, which means story, that talks about from that loud cracking sound, things manifesting into being and stuff like that. So yeah, Yoruba have this concept too. A lot of African civilizations have this concept. I'm sorry, you're just flat out wrong on this. It is what it is. How could they know? How could they? That's not my job to know. What I can tell you is they describe it in more than one African civilization. I really don't know how they know. I know that one of the ways we measure the Big Bang is from the abundance of elements on the Earth. So maybe that's how they do. I don't know. But yeah, that's just two sources. I could do a lot more. It is what it is.
I think you know what I mean? I think yeah, because in your there's a particular quote that I like that was in the Holy Odu.
Oh, I got that one.
Yeah. That went into the explanation as well.
Yep. I got that
Rastaman, we didn't say that they know about a Big Bang. if you're listening to what is being said versus just trying to push back about this whole Big Bang thing, even the people that's throwing out Big Bang today didn't know about a Big Bang. If that's going to be your argument, because there's still a lot of unanswered questions regarding that. That's why it hasn't been projected forward as a scientific theory. We have evidence for certain things that have transpired. Solid evidence, but they haven't transferred it any further.
Big Bang, loud explosion, creation of the universe through gigantic explosion of heat that dissipates and cools and whatever you want to call that. African people describe it. Whatever you want to call that. So it's just one of those things where not studying African traditions produces ignorance when speaking in absolutes about traditions you haven't studied. It is what it is.
Yeah, and my show's supposed to be about breakthrough infections and breakthrough cases, just to help people and understanding some certain terminology. But that was my initial going live. But Brother Ankh here has an issue with the way that our African ancestors was actually trying to just explain their worldview. And that's clear. It's just like I said, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Krauss and everybody else trying to explain it now. They wasn't here. They don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so much fault there. This is why those creationists argue with y'all about the Big Bang Theory. This is why they want to argue with y'all about the Big Bang over and over and over again. Because y'all are acting like these astrophysicists were there. They weren't there either. It is the best explanation for how the earth came to being based on evidence, which Panther already stated. Right. So when I go back and I say these simple words, for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as the Luku Luwamba Nzambi, God Kugdo, i.e., the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. It is the result of expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process satellites and planets. It is the process of the cosmic expanding fires. And then go, and then go on to say, where's the contention with that? Where's the contention? And then it says green planets like our planet Earth can be thought of as the oldest planets to solar systems. The Earth, for example, can be seen for the Bantu people as the oldest planet of the solar system. Green planets occupy the center of systems in our expanding universe. The expanding creative fire energy that departed from the first event or the Big Bang was not an experimental explosion from a laboratory, say the Bantu Congo. It was a natural imperative order to bring a transformation process into being throughout the universe and into all its planets until their full maturity, i.e., be able to breathe and carry life. To our present knowledge, our planet, the Earth, is the only planet known that has so far fulfilled this order. It is green and does not only give life, but it is able to sustain it up until now as well. Where's the point of contention with that?
That they're African.
Oh yeah.
and they're primitive and they can't possibly know things about their past that it took us longer to know. Just like they couldn't have known about Sirius B before astronomers got telescopes, right? Oh wait, they did.
Right. And CK, that's the thing. Like nobody is saying that they knew what actually happened. That's not the argument or the claim at all. There was never once a time in any conversation where I said, even in the previous video, that they knew this event took place. I clearly stated what I stated, and I read the same exact source, which was African Cosmology of Bantu Congo Principles of Life Living by Fukuyao. And I said that on the show, and he was like, who the hell is what is what? That's what I'm saying. You don't read these books. So no one made that claim.
It is what it is, man.
So that's why I want to know what is inaccurate about what was said. Is there really a point of contention in what was being stated from the Yoruba and from the Igbo, right? The Igbo,
the Congolese,
and the Congo, and the Congolese. Like, where we at with it?
I can even find it in ancient Egypt.
Man, come on, man. And I'm looking over here, and I probably can go somewhere else and grab it because I know I got it somewhere else. But he was like, then the whole thing about this whole religious notion, like you gotta get off there, bro. Like, ain't nobody. This didn't sound nothing like the Bible.
That's the problem. You keep looking at something as a religion that it's not. It's so anti-religious, it creates a bias that you can't get past. That's the problem.
Right.
We create these biases by ourselves. Nobody creates them for us, but you gotta be able to see the forest, man.
Right. So now it goes down to, are we actually living on a planet that is a green planet that can add life? Like green planet. Okay, so in our solar system, the Earth would be in what the Bantu know it as a green planet, right? It's not a gray planet where there is no life, like Pluto and all those other places, right? That have life hasn't been detected there, and all those other places that they've looked for life, right? So we call them gray planets. And then red planets, as the Congo know it, would be planets that haven't really gone through their phases. They still haven't had their what we call first stage, or what you want to call the Big Bang, to trigger the sudden events. What would be wrong there? That's what I'm like. There's no, and I was trying to get you on to see that there's no argument with what you're overall trying to project, but you can't say you disagree with what they're saying because it's in their teachings. This is their teachings, and this is how they see things. Now, how does that line up with modern science? That's what we have to come to. So when we go and we look at how that lines up with modern science, and science is saying, right, astrophysics, the experts are saying that all of these current events was transpiring in the universe, and you had all these different type of things that was taking place, and then boom, not boom as in sound waves and all of that, right? Not none of that. See, you was trying to be cute with that. You know what I mean? Like saying, oh, there was no sound, it wasn't, there's no, I never said that. But there was an event that occurred. Did an event not occur? Because there was no life form prior to this event. Something transpired, and then a cooling process happened. So if a cooling process happened, then it had to be hot. It had to be hot. You just can't skip hot and then go directly to cold, because we see that. If you go turn on the stove right now, leave it on for 20 minutes, and I mean the oven, the stove, leave it on for 20 minutes and then go shut it off, and then wait 30 seconds and then try to put your hand over the stove and not feel nothing. That's not going to be the case. You're going to feel the heat. It hasn't cooled. So it had to be something hot here. And you argued against that. Like, come on, man. Everything ain't religious. Man ain't even made a religious argument yet. He's simply kind of explaining it from the Congolese perspective. It's their old teachings, and he says it in his source. These are the old teachings of the Congo. So it makes no sense to argue with that. And then when you go and you look at, again, you can go to, you got this book. You can go to African Times and read it, because he's pulling directly from the Astrophysical Journey, the detection of the non-thermal radio continuum. And then he's pulling from the Astronomical Journal, optimal images and spectroscopy of the edge of that. And then he's also pulling from the study of the universe. And then I keep saying this again, dark energy fills the cosmos is one of the sources. And also, where's your Neil deGrasse Tyson at again? Boom. 14 origins, 14 billion years of cosmic evolution. And in that, it is saying, again, the universe is constantly in motion. It has no days off. Moving at colossal speed, stars, suns with their own rings of planets. They revolve around the axis and turn into the entire galaxy as it turns on its own axis. Each star is a blazing, fiery solar hurricane. Its entire surface is in a state of bubbling, erupting, burning, hot agitation with colossal fiery heat waves passing over the turbulent stars, burning hot space. If that ain't fire, I don't know what it is. It said fiery heat waves. So I guess Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about this whole fire thing then. And then that's where we end up with that. But, hey, you can cherry pick all you want. Now, if he was explaining something totally different than that, then that would go crazy. But as I said, as far as gray planets, that's planets without plants, animals, and of course without human life. How many of those planets exist in our solar system? We should know of several. Is that wrong? They call them naked. The Bantu call these planets naked, dry, and covered with dust. Would that be wrong? Right? And as far as the red planets, is it wrong to say the key word in this zone is our extreme heat, the greatest temperature? Here, everything is matter and fusion and gas. The red planets without form cannot avoid the dingo process of the four greatest stages of planetary transformation process of the Kinga, the cosmogram mentioned earlier. They will solidify through the cooling process, then eventually complete all other stages until the cosmogram of each planet is made whole to bear life. Is that not true for a lot of these planets? So if you want to get into that, that's that. But there's no claim being made. Hold on. I'm gonna have to do it. Oh, yeah, the Series B. I'm reading some comments. Oh yeah. Okay. So look, man, I'm a transition now to the good stuff. We didn't explain all to Africa their worldview and how they saw things from 3 different sources. And clearly,
I forgot Togo.
oh yeah, go get in Togo. Get into Togo.
The Karachi people of Togo. It's another people that talk about the Big Bang as well. And you know what? That's in the New York Times in 2005.
Mm.
So it's not just me. And it's not just how I'm interpreting it. Just want to put that out there.
Gotta go outside the realm sometimes. Too tech crazy. This is an Israelite free zone. All right, but that's pretty much it, man. That's the gist of it. Like trying to slow you down to get you to understand that really there's no. I think the point of contention that you're trying to make is really useless. It's baseless. That's why we be yelling at each other for about an hour. Cause you don't be hearing. You listening, but you really ain't hearing. That's why I said like something ain't being challenged properly there. And then it gets crazy. You hearing what you want to hear. You selective hearing now. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm sending. There you go. Yeah, we can see it full screen. What you got right there, Ben? Does that say Ghana on there? Ghanaian history? You on mute.
My bad.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory reconsidered framing early Ghanaian history. This is an article they talk about their interpretation of the Big Bang Theory. How many more sources do I have to show? Look, man, ain't nobody saying they were astrophysicists and knew every single detail as Bill and I and Neil deGrasse and them. But however they came to the conclusion, they got it right. They knew it was something. Some loud explosion, some event that caused things to move into place. Hell, maybe they guessed. They got it right, though. You got to give them credit for that. That's all we're saying. If that's too hard of a concept for you to conceptualize, or if anyone to conceptualize, then the problem's with that person. It's not with the evidence of the research. It is what it is.
Yeah, he got
ain't gonna be on here yelling and screaming and debating nobody all night. Ain't gonna be me. I let the evidence speak, and I go from there. See, I picked up After God Is the Beer because I know they didn't price that book out the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I got that book way back when, but when I read it, it was years ago when it was a reasonable price. I know now. Shoot, let me go take a look at how much that book is now.
I think it's still over 1,000.
What? God is the beer. Shit, ain't even available. Currently unavailable. See if I can find any version on Amazon. Nope. They ain't even available. So, I mean, that's why that's why I picked that book, because Some people about to go live with a Ravens jersey on. That's funny. Some people can't even get their hands on that joint. So that's why I read from it to just to inform people that in that book it does talk about that. I think we had a similar argument years ago about reincarnation
Mm-hmm.
in African culture, and some people were claiming that that wasn't in African culture. Again, in that book, talks about reincarnation. So that's a valuable book to have. Um, Speaks on a lot of different African concepts from the Igbo perspective. I can't believe it's not available at all. Let me see if I can find it anywhere.
What's that source, Sean? What's that source? Let me give you the source again.
Dang, this shit ain't on Abe Books either.
Nah, it ain't. I
Abe.
don't even think my little link work no more. Now I done signed up and everything.
I keep saying Abe. I'm pronouncing things in Yoruba. It's Abe Books.
Oh yeah, AB, yeah.
I keep doing that shit.
Yeah. Man, I got a tamale in them.
This book ain't, man. This book has vanished. I didn't believe it because I talked to Ngozi yesterday. He said he was looking for it. I said, man, it's probably around. Maybe he right.
Yeah, he ain't. Nah, it's out of print. That's why they going.
I'm gonna shoot. Y'all can't
I
come to
think
my.
somebody wanted $749 on Amazon, but I think they probably went up in price.
Let's see if this book. There's another book that talks about it in Igbo culture that might be available. Oh, but it's $495.
That's cheap.
Let me show you the book I'm talking about. Oh
You said
man,
they got the Natufians. I was crazy.
I ain't doing this with y'all tonight.
Suits at credit.
You see my screen?
Yeah. You showing?
It's another book, Leopards of the Magical Dawn, Science and Cosmology,
Yeah,
Cosmological Foundations in Igbo Culture.
can't find that either.
I want to say this might be on Scripted, man.
You know what? I think it is on scripted, but I think it may be limited because it was missing some information. Because at one point I was reading it on script. I already sent the link to your email, so I don't know why you in the chat asking me about. All right, hold on.
That's a good book.
All right, everybody.
Kofi said he'll sell his for $1,500.
Right. What up, Kofi?
I'm anti-price gouging.
All right, so I just want everybody to see this. Sent at 9:38 p.m. my time. It's in his email, so I don't want to hear that whole knock it off, send a link. All right, so Kofi, while you're in the chat, right? And I don't know if you listen to anything because you said that you're late to the party. Do you have any books where on no matter what part of Africa that are explaining how the earth came to be from their view? And I like this new StreamYard feature, Ben. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but you can grab the live comments and you can star them. And then if you go over to the star tab, it'll set up a memory. So if it's some things you wanted to go back to discuss, you can just hit the star tab over to the right hand side. Yeah, you can hit and then you hit the star, and then you can address all those questions.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So they kind of upgraded on us. I ain't know that till just now.
That's true.
Kofi said he has many. So Kofi, we went through after God is the Bia. We brought up the Yoruba. And what was the other one that we got? The Congo, the Bantu, African cosmology book. So what book you got, Kofi? Come on, so we can pile it up on since he got a problem with Africa, all of a sudden. Yeah. Hold on, I think let me see. Nah, the tongue now don't get into that. They go in a different direction, but they really don't explain that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mentioned Kemet, but I didn't go into detail. Kofi.
He said, "My boy Ankh out here with a spoon
I was
in a
smooth.
gunfight."
I was smooth.
You think he finna eat some yogurt?
You know, it might also be in Zulu. Credo Mutwa.
Page 95.
Credo. I will say that the Zulu account of the world being created is some of the most. Man, that shit could have been a movie. When I read that joining a Song of Stars,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, that's a lot. I'm just gonna put it that way. That's a lot.
Are you guys saying it was science or philosophy or other?
There's no
Uh,
separation in their tradition.
right.
That's the problem. We're trying to retrofit stuff into Western categories that don't exist amongst their culture.
Done created primo reality. Pyramid text 1040 and 1230. I was born in noon. Before
Oh,
sky
I
came into being.
forgot about that.
Before the earth came into being. Before that which was to establish came into being. Before torment came into being. Before fear inspired by the eye of Heru came into being. Yeah. That ain't the only one though. There's more when you get into what they got going on.
Somebody just popping in.
Yeah, we are joined here by the anti-African Unquest.
I actually think it's the other way around. Yeah, I think you got that title tonight, Sean.
Nah, you do.
Nah, no. I'm not hot. So whenever a person don't agree, that make them anti-African. So now I
Nope.
got fake it.
Nah, I ain't said that.
Yeah, it sound like it.
That's what you acting like. Go ahead.
No, I'm
What,
acting like that because you and Ben, both y'all read something and apply it. Come on, man. That's so okay. So I'm gonna do this then. If they right, then the Hebrews was right too. So let's start with the Hebrews and then move to the. I'm gonna do it real easy.
Why are
when
we
you
talking
read
about
Genesis, not
Hebrews?
Sean, because that's
No,
what I
let him
want to do.
finish. Let him
Because
finish.
that's
Let
what
him
I
finish.
want to do, Sean.
Let him
If
finish.
that's okay with you, right? What I'm saying
Mhm.
is you can clearly read the Bible narratives, and there's some things that appear to be true. Now the question is, how would they know what they know? That would make it scientific. How do they know the earth was formless? Right? How? They wouldn't know it. So they guessed it. That's what everybody until they was able to reproduce it and figure out exactly what was going on with the proper mathematical equations, right? I'm not saying it's not slick. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying to put that on them, right? For me, that wouldn't be African. They was guessing like everybody was guessing. And then you giving modern science too much credit because it's more stuff that they don't know about the universe than they actually know. So man is still learning, bro. That's my point.
Yeah. Can I respond to that?
Absolutely, man.
Because no one made the claim that it was scientific.
It's philosophy, right?
I didn't make that claim either.
So what is it? If it ain't philosophy and it ain't scientific, then what is it?
That's
I'm
the
talking
problem. None of those categories exist at this time.
Hmm.
None of those categories are separated in their culture. That's the problem. We try to retrofit it into these little categories, which I keep saying. It's just
So
their
where
way
would
of
we put
life.
it? So where you think we would put it at
It's
then?
just their mythology. And in their mythology, as in African mythology tends to do, it explains real events. That's what they do. So we have to give them credit for getting it right.
Well, so all right, I
And I
missed it.
don't
What did
care
they get right? What
how
did they
they
get right
no,
then?
let me finish. I'll let you finish. So no one said that they could test and measure and how did they get it. We didn't make any of those claims. I even said I don't know how they got it right. I don't know how so many cultures wrote about it, but it's there. It's there. And you got to give them credit for it being there. I didn't say they were astronomers. I didn't say that they calculated the distance or they measured the elements on Earth or they tapped into cosmic background radiation and then they looked at the waves. And I didn't say none of that shit. I just said they got it right. And for that, you have to give them credit. Simple and plain.
Right. And I'm saying they didn't get it right. And I can't give them credit for something they didn't get it right because they didn't get it right, Ben.
How did they
Didn't get
not
it
get it
right.
right? Out of
So
everything
read to
we
me.
read,
I
how
didn't
did they
hear all
not
that
get it right?
because it's charged with. First of all, it's charged with a deity doing that. Then we got to go with the whole
Okay,
explanation
so
of a deity. So, and I'm saying it's just too much at this point, Ben. It's too much.
so the part that they got right was was a gigantic explosion that
I
shaped
didn't
their
hear it. No,
reality.
I didn't actually hear that. So that's what I'm saying. You would have to go back again and do it again,
I'll
or at
have to read
least
this again because you weren't
yeah,
paying
you got to read that again.
attention.
You don't got to read it again. We ain't doing all that. I'm gonna go
No,
back
you
and
want
listen
me
to
to
the
read it again
dialogue.
because you're saying
No,
that they
no.
didn't get it right and they weren't talking about. I'll read it again just from the Dabia's perspective amongst the Igbo people amongst southeastern Nigeria, and their system is called Odinani or Omenala. It's theirs.
Time period, Ben. Time period. Time period is this.
The time period of the story or the time period
Yep.
of the people?
Time period when they first wrote the story.
Time period when the Igbo people came into being and first wrote the story. Is that what you're asking for, sir?
Yes. What's the time? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, all you would have to do is go to when the Igbo people first become a tribe.
Gotcha.
Do you know when that is?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay. So we're going past the Inri people, which is before them. So we're talking, I want to say 14th. No, Inri influences well into the 13th century. I want to say 14th century.
All right. Okay.
You good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So what I was reading earlier is in their mythology, it says As a result of a gigantic explosion and breakage, the planet, satellite, stars came into being, and each of them had a circular and spherical form, which means they don't believe in a fat Earth. Odagini Okwalu, which is the Igbo version of magnetic fields, which balances and evolves and prevents things from running into each other in the cosmos. They have a name for this called Odachi Ku Odachi, which means gigantic explosion or great tragedy. And this is how they explain the universe coming into being. So, listening to that story is obviously things they got right about the Big Bang. Whether they included their deity, whether they included their mythology, that's fine. Africans do that to explain real events. But I will say that they got the theme correct. And for that, I have to give them credit.
Okay. So start over and let's go step by step. I heard you read it through, and I'm going to show you where they was wrong at as you read it. Go ahead.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Okay. First things, nothing
You
is
should have
wrong.
been. You should have been listening.
I heard you. No, okay.
I'm not reading it for a third time.
Yeah. No, I
That's
actually
what I'm
didn't want
not
to
doing.
cut you. I didn't want to cut you off. So nothing came into being round. That's first of all.
Okay.
The Earth's not even round. Yeah, the Earth's
First
not
of
round.
all, it says sphere. That's that. You don't listen.
But the Earth is not a sphere, though.
Okay. It's
Right?
not in spherical form.
No, it's elliptical.
What would you call it?
We can look it up. It's elliptical spherical. It's
Elliptical
not.
what?
Not round. Yeah,
Elliptical what? What was that last word?
I'm getting fucking tongue tied.
Oh, okay.
Spherical. Elliptical.
That's what I just said, Unc.
No, but spherical is different from elliptical. You get my point? So they just didn't get that right. I gotta be technical with this. So they was gauging. They said that, right? They said it was round. It wasn't. Nothing is round on Earth. The Earth is not round.
I never said the word round.
You said, spherical. Nothing is spherical.
I never said the word round, though.
What was the spherical?
I said circular, spherical in form.
Circular.
That's what I said.
What's circular? Circular.
I said circular and spherical in form. Now, if you look up the term spherical Earth, which is a real term, by the way, it will say spherical Earth or Earth's curvature refers to the approximation of the figure of Earth as a sphere. This was common back in the day, and it's not too far off from what we think today.
Yeah, they actually use geodesy.
Technical, we can go, it's 2 degrees off instead of 4. They got the theme right. That's all we're getting.
So when you were saying a circle, you said circle in that, did you not? The Earth has not had nothing to do with
circular, spherical. You need to listen, sir.
Yeah, but that's not. Come on, Ben. That's not the shape of the Earth. It's not a sphere.
As I just said, it refers to a concept called spherical Earth, which was a common concept back in the day. And it's not too far off from what we think about the Earth today.
All right, I'm gonna show you what the Earth is. Because you do know the Earth changes size. And
yes, I know the Earth changes size. I know the Earth is not a perfect shape round. I know these things. It's also not flat.
No, it's not flat. But the point is,
them thinking that
they got it
was
right,
in
though,
a circular spherical shape is not something that is too far off from what we think today. That's my point. You have to give them credit for the theme, being that they didn't have satellites and telescopes to look at it.
So if they didn't have something that could look back at the Earth to see what it was like, how did they guess that? How could they get that?
I told you earlier, I don't know. And we never made the claim that we knew.
So they wouldn't have known then, am I correct?
They obviously knew. They wrote about it. Did they know as in they could test for it? No.
I ain't gonna do it. All right.
Because you can't do it. These people wrote about it.
Yeah, they left a good.
What they thought.
Yeah, they thought. I agree. They thought that, but they thought wrong. That's all I'm saying. Ain't nothing
They
wrong with
couldn't
that.
have thought. They couldn't have thought it wrong. They thought the theme that they thought was correct. That a gigantic explosion occurred and the universe was created.
But okay, but there is no explosion in the universe, though. That's another part they got wrong. That's all I'm saying. There wasn't no explosion, Ben. That's all I'm saying. Like, no,
You say
now,
so.
now, what I will go ahead.
And nothing to say. Because we just call this thing the Big Bang for no reason.
Right. The scientists don't mean Big Bang when they say it. They don't mean that.
Okay.
They actually don't. But
Okay.
I'm just saying, listen, here's my point though. For me, right, I appreciate the creativity and their cosmology. Okay. I appreciate the philosophy that they gave the world. I absolutely do. And I appreciate they stab at it. I actually do. Assad does a piece when he talk about how they was talking about evolution. I talk about Kepler, right, and how his transformation and evolve. But when you get, I just know when to draw the line at. So I think you drawing the line at where you drawing the line at. But Sean didn't draw that line. He dove all the way in.
What did
Sean know
Sean
what I'm
say?
talking about. He
No,
What?
I
No,
don't
no, no,
think
no, no, no,
see, he
no.
Sean.
just
I
can't
don't
even
What
think
talk.
did Sean?
Sean did any of that. I think you wanted Sean to do that because you have a bias against things that are religious.
Nah, they ain't. I don't got a bias. No, I don't got a bias against things. I have a
Yes,
bias
you
against
do.
applying mythology to scientific ideas that came by way of science. And if that's a bias, then I can live with that.
What mythology did I use, Unc?
Well, Ben just read the mythology.
That's not the
He just read it.
mythology he used.
I don't know what you use. Whatever you use, well, you weren't even close, Sean.
I'm gonna say
Whatever
this
you read, you
again.
wouldn't even read it again.
I'm
You
gonna
wouldn't
You
even
say
wasn't
read it
this.
listening
again,
to what
Sean.
you wasn't listening to what he read, man. Keep it a buck.
Nah, just now. Nah, only reason I heard what you read because you just read it again.
Okay, so if you didn't listen, how can you argue against it?
I'm talking about the last time we did the video
That's what
when
I'm
he
talking
talked
about.
about the Big Bang. Right, and I'm saying is, y'all got to admit that a person saying the Big Bang, and then going to African cosmology where they talking about banging or whatever it was is it's
You're
not
not
correct.
listening. It's kind of obvious that you're not listening, bro. I'll be
What am I
honest.
not listening to? There is no Big
Because
Bang.
you
So
can't even repeat concepts about what we said. You're just kind of making up stuff as you talk.
yeah, you said something about a bang. You said they was showing you the Big Bang.
Something about some part of Africa, this side of yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, but I'm not okay. Y'all got it down pat,
You're not
but I
listening.
think I'm hearing it
No,
right, and
but
I'm
you're not
saying
listening.
what I'm hearing is speaking to when scientists say the Big Bang, but understanding what
What part of
they're
Africa were
saying.
we talking about? Huh?
That you said Nigeria.
What part was Sean talking about?
It don't matter what part of Sean was talking about.
No,
Whatever
it's
part he was
just
talking
you
about, they
weren't
didn't get it right.
listening.
I don't have to
You
know the
weren't
part.
listening.
Yeah, man. I ain't want to tear the whole thing down. I could look at it and tear the whole thing down.
I mean, you can do what
I
you
wasn't
want,
trying to tear the whole thing down.
but your tearing down would not be even touching what we're saying
What are you okay?
because you're not
What are
listening.
you saying? So you saying
I've said it already. I'm not going to continue.
now? I said, hold on. Let me sum up what you're saying. You basically saying that there's no term for science back then, so they wasn't doing science. Doesn't fit in that category. They wasn't dealing with philosophy. Doesn't fit in that category. Basically, I tend to think they did have a philosophy, and I tend to understand that they got certain things they was doing could be considered on the level of science. That's just me. Okay. But when it comes to the expansion of the cosmos, they didn't know that because you need a telescope to know that. You have to understand the Doppler effect. You couldn't see it. They couldn't, there was no way possible, not unless a mythical force came through. So you made the
Let me
statement, Ben,
ask
that I
you a
have
question.
a bias against religion. I actually don't. I actually think everybody got a right to have religion, but the right they don't have is to apply religious ideas to scientific ideas. And that's why I just draw the line, though, Ben. That's all.
If I write
Well,
about
go ahead.
something and I publish it, don't I know it? If I teach it to
If you
my
write,
children, don't I know it?
yeah,
If I say this happened, don't I know it?
yeah, it don't
So
got to
why
be
do you
right
keep
though.
saying they couldn't have possibly known it when it's obviously that they are aware of an event that happened?
But it wasn't an event though, Ben. That's my point.
Then why do
It's
science
not even an
categorize it
event.
as an event?
Hmm?
Does science not categorize the Big Bang as an event?
No, man, it's forever. You know how long ago that was, Ben? And they can only see the aftermath of it. And it takes certain technology.
Okay.
I'll say this: if those brothers that was writing the cosmology had the Hubble telescope, they would have figured out the same thing. So
Because I got a
since they
source
didn't
from
have that
like
tool, they
a
couldn't figure it out.
peer-reviewed scientific journal, Reviews of Modern Physics, that categorizes it as an event.
Okay, but you know my
So
point.
which one
My
is it?
strong point is my strong point is, Ben, is that there's no way to even remotely understand it without a telescope. And
But
it's
that's
not
not
to the
what
avid of the
anybody
telescope.
claimed. Nobody claimed
So
that they
then,
understood it at the level that we understand it today. That's my point.
I know. So
You
then how do
putting
they
things
see
on
that
us that
then?
we're not claiming.
So what are we claiming? You can't claim the Big Bang. You can't
I'm
claim that because the
claiming
Big
that
Bang is
the
only noted
theme
based
of
off the
what
telescope.
we call the Big Bang is something that they got right in their cosmology and their theology. That's what I'm claiming.
All right, and I don't agree with that.
And you cannot.
Yep, we good. I don't agree with that. I can't see. Y'all gotta do better than that on that. Y'all have to really get into the books
No,
and nail that.
we've already showed it in 5 cultures. So it's not something that Ben made up. It's not something that
Nah,
Sean
I ain't say
made
you
up.
made it up.
It's not something
No.
that, doesn't exist. It's not something that, came down from the sky and whatever. It's something that these people wrote about. Multiple cultures.
And like you said, you don't know how they could have did it. There would have to be
I
a
really don't
spiritual
care
force.
how they could have did it.
Yeah, well, all right. I'm just saying
that's not what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with it being there. And I give them credit for it being there.
From my reading of what you just read, they ain't even close.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
Nah, that's not even an opinion. They're not close. They talking circles, they talking explosions. None of this has anything to do with
You're
Big
talking
Bang.
circles.
No, they talked about circles. Remember you read that? And spheres. And the earth was never a sphere, and the
Because
earth was
we
never
never
a
thought
circle.
that about the earth, right?
Huh?
We never thought that about the earth, right?
Looking at a globe, when you look at a globe,
Oh,
you think that
It wasn't
think that that's the shape of the earth.
2004 we thought of it as the what is that word ellipsoid or whatever it's called.
Yep.
That
So
was
at one
that was
point they would have
2004.
been pretty spot on. But today we know more. Because information evolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at one point for their time, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I read you said it that way.
I would never claim that they knew everything about it, which I keep saying. But their time period, that was pretty damn good.
Right.
And it was more advanced than anything else on the planet at the time, especially wasn't coming from the Greeks like that. Definitely wasn't coming from the Romans. Definitely wasn't coming from the Asians.
In the 1400s? No, I don't know about
like
that. No, I don't know. You got your man who they put
from their traditional cultures.
House arrest.
From their traditional cultures.
Yeah, man, come on, man. You got the Catholic Church with the serious science program in the 1400s. 1400s, you got people.
I didn't say nothing about the Catholic Church. I named indigenous cultures. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mentioned you said I thought you said nowhere on earth. You said nowhere on earth.
Amongst traditional cultures. I'm sorry if I misled you on that. So amongst it wasn't coming out of ancient Greece when they were depicting things that accurately. It wasn't coming out of ancient Rome. The Japanese didn't write about it in their ancient system. The Chinese don't have a concept of that in their ancient system. Those African people.
I don't like to compare the two, yo. But you got people measuring the shape and size of the earth and Egypt. Yep, you
Yeah,
feel me?
Egypt
Before
did
the
it too.
1400. Yeah, so
Egypt
I
has
don't
a
know, but
depiction of the earth that's round or spherical, which is actually in the Metropolitan Museum on the sarcophagus of Wernesher.
we stood
They
there and
did that
looked at it
before
together,
everybody.
remember?
Hmm?
We stood there and looked at it together, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. So Africans had this concept.
All right, okay.
Is that
I just
something we
don't
can
agree.
agree on, that Africans knew the earth wasn't square, rectangle, flat, a
Nah, they ain't
disc,
thought. Nah,
a
they ain't thought that.
dome? They knew
I
that, right?
don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they thought it was flat though.
They didn't. That's what I'm saying.
Uh-uh. I don't think they thought
So,
it was
so for
flat.
that, we have to give African people credit for these
Yeah, we
ancient
get.
cultures. They didn't know. I mean, they knew that, at least the shape, roughly, of what we live on, and they put it into their writings.
Hmm.
Can we agree on that? Because me and you both
Yeah,
saw
we can
it, right?
agree. We can agree that they plotted the stars out, and I think they knew they was moving
Yeah, they knew they
based
were
off
moving.
of that clock they got. That I say it always messes up, man.
What, the
Not the
sundial?
plier. Yeah, not the
Oh, he's
plier.
talking about Naphtali in
Not the
Nubia.
plier. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Natural
gotta go back and
satellite,
read
one
up
of the
on that.
first natural satellites.
Yeah, that's the first. That's one of the first times in history where you start to actually plot that, and then you look at the pyramids; they start to have those alignments. So
Mhm.
I mean, we can go in on that. We know that there's a lot of things they understood and things they just didn't know. But when we start talking about the Big Bang, I don't never want to mix that up. I can't go down that road with y'all. I'm unable to do it. If you say it's because of my religious bias, I hope not to have a bias against religion.
You certainly do.
I do
You
not,
have a
man.
whole shirt on your website that says religion with a line through it.
Yeah, but yeah. But we can, yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah, we can. When
I
I
didn't
say a
make you
bias
make that
against it,
shirt.
meaning I think they all the same, man. I think religion is human, and it's what humans do. And from that point I think it's natural to have religions, and it's okay. I don't
Yeah,
find
I
a
think it's
problem in
okay.
that.
I think it's fine, but Africans don't have religion.
Yeah, it's cool with different nationalities. See, there you go. Okay, so
Okay, I'll ask you
you're
this
saying what
question
I'm
then.
saying. You're
What
saying what I'm saying.
category does African religion fit into?
It's no set. So all right, let's do this. When I'm saying no religion, I'm just taking it from the. I'm saying the basic like
I know where you coming
Islam,
from.
Christ, right?
I know
So,
you
but
come from the
wait.
monotheism and everything like that.
No,
But
no,
you,
no. But let me say this. But when we actually look it up, right? When we
Mhm.
actually look the term up, then we did have a religion, and there's no set way to call it a religion. There's no scholarly agreement on what a religion is. So if you say, well, that's not
Agreed.
the African thing, is that thing, right? Then
But
you're
this is
right.
the problem,
And
This is the problem with supporting that stance. Every single religion fits into a category, and that's by the Pew Institute. The Religious Institute of our land fits every single religion into a category, whether it's polytheism, monotheism, animism, Hinduism, exactly, etc. So, what category does African spirituality fit into?
it fits in if you go to Wikipedia and just read what religion is. Matter of fact, I wrote
You
the
didn't answer my
forward.
question.
It fits in right there. It's
What is
still
right
religion
there?
because it got deities. Listen, some have deities, it has
You're not
rituals, it
answering
has
me.
customs.
There is a category that every religion fits into,
And I'm
except
telling
for
you
African
that,
spirituality. Do you know the category that they put us into?
oh, they put you in animism.
No, they do not.
Where they put you? What's the other word?
Folk religion.
Folk. Okay,
Do you know what folk
but it's still
religion is?
religion. They
Do you know
just
what folk
basically trying to
religion is?
say, yeah, they say that's we practice folk religion. Give me
Do you
the
know what
technical
folk
definition
religion
for it.
is?
Yes.
What is that saying?
Well, good. You tell me.
I asked you a question. Now I got to answer my own question.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to answer because I
So
can't remember
folk
right now. But you
religion
know, I
would
know though.
say that there is another approved version of what we practice, and we are practicing the bastardized version of that. That's what folk religion is. That is what they say 4% of the United States population practices. That is the category in which they put African people in. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say that's a bunch of malarkey, and I would say go to the Wikipedia article to tell you what religion is, and then you will see that
Wikipedia article
Africans
is
had a
not the
religion.
standard here. The
I've
Pew
argued both
Institute
sides of it.
Research Center is the standard. Therefore, we have to say if
Hold on?
we
The Pew
call
Research is
African
not the standard.
spirituality religion, we are supporting a white supremacist narrative.
No. Here,
We are
let me share this.
100%.
All right, let me
Because we are not
hold on for a minute.
practicing the bastardized version of anything.
No,
We are
no,
before
that's
all
ridiculous. I
of
said it
those
was
religions.
malarkey. No, I said that's malarkey. Hold on. I agree.
I
I
know you
said
said
that's
it's
malarkey,
malarkey,
right?
but that is where they categorize us.
Yeah, we ain't listening to that. Let's do this.
But that's the
Let's go to the
standard in which they
Wikipedia.
put us by. You can't
It's not. I'm
pick and
going to show you what
choose.
the standard is.
You
Let me
can't
read
pick
the
and
standard. Hold
choose.
on.
If you want to call it a religion, it's in this category.
Watch this. Let's see what a religion is first. A religion is a social cultural system. So nobody on this phone is going to say that the Africans didn't have a social cultural system, correct?
You just said to me that no one can agree on this definition. So this
I
definition is
know.
relevant.
I know. Listen.
There is no
No. Just
definition that applies to all
let me come on,
religions. So
Ben.
it's
Let me make
irrelevant.
my point. Right. It's not irrelevant, Ben. Let me read
You're
this. It's
doing
not.
what you accused me of a second ago.
No, it's not, Sean. So now he
Yes, it
speaks. Now
is.
you speak, Sean. So let me read this.
No, I've been
So
letting y'all
religion.
talk. I got plenty to say.
All right, well, hold on, Sean. Let me finish this point though. Religion is a social cultural system. Okay. So no one's going to sit here and say that in Africa they didn't have social cultural systems. Okay. Right. It says of designated behaviors, practices, morals. We had morals. We had beliefs. We had worldviews. We had different texts. We had sanctified places. Right. Some had prophecies. We had ethics. Right. Organizations that relate to humanities, to supernatural. We had supernatural things. We had things that were transcendental. We had spiritual elements. However, there is no scholarly consensus over what precisely constitutes
So
a religion.
that definition is irrelevant.
Hold on, let me finish though. Let me finish. It says different religions may or may not contain various elements ranging from divine, sacred things, faith, supernatural beings, or some sort of ultimacy, transcendence that will provide norms and powers for the rest of life. Religious practices may include, watch this, rituals. Of course, we have rituals. Ben, you know the rituals. You practice certain rituals, right? Sermons, commemorations, venerations
The
of
definition
deities or
is
saints,
irrelevant.
sacrifices,
There's no
festivals, feasts,
consensus.
trances. Trances, institutions, funerary services, mortuary services, meditation, prayer, music, dance, public service, or other aspects of human culture. Religions have what? Sacred histories and narratives. You just read a sacred history and a narrative when you talked about uh, uh, um, uh, um, the cosmology story that you mentioned, right? So I don't know what the peer review thing is talking about, but it's also talking about explain the origin of life, the universe, and other phenomena. Traditional faith, in addition to reason, has been considered the source of religious beliefs. And I'm saying we did all those things in different ways, in different fashions, in different forms. So I don't respect the quote unquote whatchamacallit talking about that. So with that, I'm accepting that, bro. That's just culture. Social
Culture and
cultural
religions
system.
are not the same thing.
Social cultural systems. Religion is a social cultural system.
Culture is not religion.
I don't agree.
Spiritual systems or religions come out of cultures. It's not
I know, but it's
a synonym.
Religion is a social cultural system of designated behaviors and practices.
So since no one can agree on that definition,
Hey, look, we proved the point though, right?
which makes it irrelevant, as I said earlier. So I have some of the same things in here. If you read on the
All right,
screen,
what you
I have
got?
the same thing. Religion can be defined
All right,
as
go
a
ahead.
cultural system, designated behaviors. Da, 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 da. The Pew says the same thing you're saying, but guess where they still put us? You see it right there. 5.9% folk religious. Same stuff that you're reading. That's what the Pew says. Social, cultural system, designated behaviors, practice, worldviews, sanctified places, prophecies, ethics, organizations, blah, 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 blah. Still folk religious. Let's go to this. They got a whole chart for us. They got a whole chart. And they have put us into folk religion status. What is folk religion? It's right here. Because we're not the only people that have folk that are in folk religion. They got folk Christianity. They got folk Islam. They got folk Judaism. What's the definition of folk Judaism? Jewish folk religion consisting of ideas, practices that, with lists not meeting the approval of religious leaders, enjoy wide popularity, such as they may be included into what they deemed in the field of religion. So they are saying there's another version of what we practice, and those people don't approve of what we practice. What could those versions be? I don't know. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism? See what they doing? By calling what we do religion, you put us under the structure of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. They're the approving authority, not us.
So let's go to the Oxford Dictionary.
You go to any dictionary you want. I put them all in my slide. I put the Oxford one. I put the Macmillan one. I put the Pew one. They all say the same thing. We're still folk religious in these categories.
All right, let's see.
Means we're practicing a bastardized version of the three monotheistic religions, which means we're practicing some bullshit. They practicing the real shit, which makes it
let me read
racist.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Folk religion is either, it says folk religion as either religion which occurs in small local communities, which does not adhere to the norms of large systems, or the appropriation of religious beliefs and practices at a popular level. I don't feel like reading all that.
Who creates these norms?
Oh no, I'm gonna read what I'm gonna do is.
No. Think about that. Who says what is fetish? Who says what is norms? Who says what is acceptable? Who says what is ungodly?
Yeah, you mixing it now. Yeah,
I'm not. The three monotheistic religions, which are the standard, and we are below that standard according to this research institute, which have the same definitions of what you read because they all have the same opinion.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read this whole article.
There's no way out of this. There's no way out of this building.
No, we talking two separate things right now. No, we talking two separate things, Ben. See,
we're not.
I'm essentially we are, because I'm agreeing with you that the way they categorize us is the way they categorize us.
You don't see the connection. But when you call it a religion, you enforce white supremacist stereotypes.
No.
That's period.
No.
Point blank period. Because their opinion of us religiously is that we are bastardized.
No, Ben. That's not what that religion thing said right there.
It's kind of like saying if I say I'm glad that my people became Christians, I don't endorse slavery.
No, it's not the same thing, Ben.
It really is.
You can't sit up there and say
it really is. You can't separate.
So okay, all right. So watch this. Hold on, watch this. That the Africans have gods. I've argued that they didn't. So did the Africans have gods? In reality, they
argue
did.
that I don't care.
You can't say that right now after saying all you just said.
I
Man,
don't
get off here. I'm
care.
gone, man. Get off here, man.
Because whether they categorize them as gods, whether they categorize them as spirits, whether they categorize them as energy, we still fucking religious, and we still bastardizing this system.
Look, with that, I'm gonna get off here, man. It's late.
I'm sure you are.
Enjoy your holidays.
Yeah,
I appreciate the conversation.
But I was
I'm sure
wrong.
you
It's
are.
late, bro. Yeah, you was wrong, though.
No,
Sean.
I wasn't wrong. No, I was
You
not
was
wrong.
wrong.
Ain't no
Where was
way
I
off
wrong
the
at?
street.
Tell me where I was wrong.
Both of y'all was wrong on that Big
Ain't no
Bang.
way
No
off
matter
the
what y'all
street.
say. Y'all wrong.
Ain't
on
no
that
off.
Big Bang.
Ain't no way off this street.
On the Big Bang, y'all gonna try. So you hold on. Let me get this.
So
definitive
no,
statement.
hold on, pause, because I
Ben
just
and
sit here and
Sean,
listen.
are y'all
No. Let's stay with the current conversation. Ain't no wins down.
No, because I'm getting off here, man. I gotta go.
Okay, then get off.
But then get off then.
Because I ain't gonna get off this topic.
I know that's your favorite. That's why
I ain't gonna get off this topic.
Because
we're gonna stop subtly supporting white supremacy. That's what we're gonna do.
Not yo. So
we're
so
gonna stop
wait a
doing
minute,
that.
man.
We're gonna
All
stop
right, so what are we
subtly
gonna
supporting it.
Whoa.
And
What you gonna call it?
And then
I want to hear
say,
the word.
well, big ups to Africa, but
Ben. Nah, Ben, what you gonna call it? What we calling what they was doing? Let me hear you say.
You know what we calling it. If you've been paying attention for the last 6 months, you know what we
What
rolling
is it?
with.
What you rolling with?
You know we rolling with Kimoyo. We got a whole book.
All right, okay. So with the Kimoyo,
we got a whole book for my brother Kofi, which you probably ain't got.
What? You know I got it.
You probably ain't got it. We got a whole book.
Man, who book do I got?
Book right here.
Wait. So wait.
I suggest you read it.
I know. I'm reading on it, and it still run back. You can't get away
I
from
suggest you finish it.
Now hold on. Wait. I'm in y'all.
All them scientific journals you read, this book only 173 pages. I know your reading pattern. You can read this shit in the afternoon.
Wait, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end y'all with a checkmate piece, as it is customary.
Ain't no
y'all
checkmate.
Not gonna get away. Hold on. Wait,
I know y'all.
Hold on.
After you read
Ben
this book.
or Sean, watch this. Ben and Sean.
Read the book.
Y'all not. Come on, let me finish. Come on. Y'all not gonna get out the fact that the Africans were Homo sapiens sapiens, and Homo sapiens sapiens are Homo sapiens sapiens because of the development of the frontal lobe. Right, and so we have believing brains. What the hell does that have to do with what
we talking about? Boy,
I'm about to y'all gotta let me finish.
I ain't never heard one, boy.
Y'all gotta let me
That's
finish.
A great deflection, though.
Let me finish. Y'all gotta let me finish.
That's a great one.
And I'm telling you,
hold on.
And I'm
bring his boy up.
That cognitive behaviors.
Let's go back.
Beliefs. No, I'm not finished. You gotta let me finish.
And what are those belief systems under, according to?
Cut me off.
I'm gonna bring his boy up.
With that bullshit.
Boy coming up. Hold up, big. He gonna bring his boy up. We let him keep talking. We gonna get to old Darwin. Let you go
ahead. You gotta run on up out of here with that. We're gonna stop subtly supporting white supremacy. Because I just showed you what those people think of us in religion, in religious concepts. I just showed you that. And you can't support that. You can't support that. All of that. All of those concepts in which they call it the animism and the fetish and the primitive and the savage and this, it's all connected to us being religious. And you see on the totem pole where they got us at in religion. That's why. And that's why it does not fit into a religious category. It just doesn't. They try to make it fit because if they make it fit, they can put us in that hierarchy. So let's look at all these things. Okay, so it's not Christianity, it's not Judaism. Where is this? Okay, all these categories right here. Animism, monotheism, polytheism, pantheism, Neoplatonism, Hinduism. Some of these y'all probably never even heard of.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of pantheism.
These are all religious categories. Let me go to that one since you said it. Okay. Cathenothism is termed and coined by a philosopher and physiologist Max Muller to mean worship of one god at a time. It closely related to henotheism, the worship of one god while not rejecting the existence of other gods. Muller coined the term in reference to the Vedas, and if you're familiar with the Vedas, we're talking about Hinduism, where he explained each deity is treated as supreme in turn. We don't do that. We don't do that. Each religion has one of these categories. Every single one of them has one of these. See, this is the presentation that they like to act like I didn't do.
Yeah, I remember it.
This is you know what I'm saying? Because I broke down every one of these categories and why Africans don't fit into any of these boxes. And more importantly, look at who came up with animism.
The white man.
Who came up with all of these little boxes
The
that
white
we're
man.
supposed to fit in? And we openly support that. Right? We openly support that. And he's right. There's no official definition of religion. So I came up with my own.
It's only right. You want to make the argument? Yeah.
I came up with my own.
else
It's modern. And as many scholars, I will say it's not the total consensus, but many scholars agree, religion is a Western concept. That is what most scholars say. So miss me with that. Miss me with that. Exactly. Y'all got to take my class. It's on udemy.com. African Spirituality 101.
Nah, we don't have a.
No, let's deal with that. No,
okay.
I have a problem with white folks defining African culture.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with. Because they come to Africa, spend a couple weeks, maybe a couple years, and then all of a sudden write these books about what we do, what it means, what day, and all of that. And most of the time they get it wrong. Dead wrong. And you can add, you can look at the missionaries that came over there and wrote about different things. And
they
read their
infuse
works.
things. Yeah, they infuse things. And this is the problem with, like, especially when we see this in ancient Egypt. Like when you're dealing with that specifically, they wrote about the traditions and the culture in ancient Kemet from how they saw things. So they made it fit the way that it was conceivable for them to be able to interpret it. And it could have been something totally, it was something totally different, but they drew upon comparisons to make it relay so that when they wrote about it and they published their works about it, that it would be articulated in a sense to where people say, "Oh, yeah, God, okay, God, yeah, all right, okay, this, that."
So let's deal with this. What are Africans defining things as when they come in contact with other cultures? Whatever it is to them, they don't speak with authority. That's the problem. If you read missionary texts, they speak with authority. These people are godless people. These people are bastardized. These people have fetishes. They don't worship the true living supreme God. That's where that term supreme God comes from. It comes from people coming into Africa and wanting to put their God on a hierarchy and our God at the bottom. Same thing they did with that damn chart that I just showed you. Your God ain't shit. Our God is the real God. And they talk, and Kofi explains that beautifully in the last, I believe it's the last chapter of Beautiful Lessons of Kimoyo. He talks about it. he talks about what they call as primitive, savage,
Yeah.
fetishism, juju, paganism, heathenism. That's all what they call us, right?
He continues. Animism,
Animism, idolatry.
idolatry,
Look at that. Look at all this stuff that they came up.
polytheism.
Polytheism. All these things, all these terms that they came up with to describe African culture.
So you tell us what you call it, and we incorporate it into the culture. For example, and we call money in my lead taken from the word money, but spoken in the way that it fits our language.
I tell you what we call it. We calling it Kimoyo. It's a Kikongo word, and it means vitality, the essence of a person. That's what we moving up. That's what we moving with. We're moving with Kimoyo in honor of the late Dr. Fukiao. We're moving with that.
But see, that's the thing though, CK. Like in history, Africans wasn't naming things. They wasn't into that. They weren't going to. They
Yeah, they
weren't
didn't have
creating demarcations.
It's a European need to find everything and name it.
Right. Like something is here, like these artifacts, right? Think about all when you go to museums, all the museums that you go to and you look at African artifacts, no matter what part of Africa it's from, there some European name is entitled to that. Oh, okay, boom, we got you. But some especially when it comes to ancient Kemet, like when you go deal with the mathematical papyrus, whose name's in front of that? The Ren or the Rhine mathematical papyrus. Who the hell is that?
Whoever finds it. That's what it is. Just like the Brimbrier papyrus. It's always a European put their name on stuff because they're the archaeologists that found it. That's just how they identify things. Africans don't do that. To answer your question, CK, there is not one word to encompass all of these traditions that you will ever find in any language in history. So people like myself, people like Asar, people like Kofi, people like Brother Shabaka Ra, people like Sean, we are now pushing this word to be familiarized and to replace the African spirituality. I was just watching Asar and James Small last night, and James Small was in agreement with the word Kimoyo. So this is the word we are socializing. This is the word we are popularizing to replace African spirituality going forward, to answer your question, sis. Yes, Moyo is the root. Because there's a other saying called Inkwa Moyo, which means vitalist. Because Moyo deals with vitality and power. The essence of you is vitality and power. Energies, all of these things that we describe our African deities to be, that's what Kimoyo encompasses. So this is why we're moving forward with that word. Chef said, "Y'all beat the brakes off." Hey man, I don't normally get into this mode, but it's some things, you know, just some things I just don't tolerate, man. I just don't. Like you some people subtly, whether they realize or not, try to play Africans like they were stupid. Like they couldn't have known and all this other shit when they obviously wrote about it. They obviously had a concept. It may not be 100% accurate. It may not be scientifically peer reviewed for a journal or anything like that, but it was damn sure a good ass guess or a good hypothesis or a good whatever we want to call it for the time period that was there. And we have to give them credit for their advancements, for their creativity, for their mythology, for their teachings, and everything that they produce as a result of their culture. So, you know, That's the things, man. That's the thing. And I agree, CK. That's why we are defining our own. We are defining our own thing. We are taking it. That's what this book, Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo, is about. That first step forward in reclaiming things in an African sense, in an African thought, in an African cosmology, in an African language. Something that our great teacher and what's the name? It's not in Songa. Sorry, it's not in Doki. Hey, what is the our Nganga, our great Nganga, Dr. Fukiao left us from his systems, the Leba, the Kepasi, and the Akande, which are inside of Kikongo. That's where he left us in his writings. So we're carrying it forward. So, it is what it is. You might have to change the title of this show. Sean.
Yeah, I already know.
I'm sorry for taking over, man. I wasn't. Some things we can't do.
That's very much true. Yeah, I know I'm gonna have to do it after the fact. I was gonna kind of get it on at the end, but the dust is settled a little bit. But
Yeah.
I think that and that's correct what Chavis is saying right here. Like people are clearly we're so caught up in how we've been taught and educated from this side of the globe that when we look elsewhere, we project things on every other culture. And it's naturally done so. Like we may frown upon things that that they do in China, or that they may do in India, or what they may do, in Australia, or some of these third world countries. We'll look and we'll project out those things, even on South Americans or Mexicans, right? In Central America, we make those projections because we've been trained to do that. It's on our TVs, it's in our newspapers, it's on nowadays, it's on social media. Like it's clearly, if we're looking at something, it's like that. Then you have presidents like, come on, like specifically SARS-CoV-2 or the coronavirus. What did the president come out and call it? The Chinese virus. And what was the stigma that was implemented on the Chinese? Oh, this is something the Chinese got. This only affects the Chinese. And I mean, think about that. Those projections matter. And that's what Western culture does. It forces the narrative on certain things, no matter how other people see things. That's what they do. Like, for instance, another thing, right? Dealing with, and I don't really want to bring this up, but people's sexual preference, right? They over here in the West, they made it acceptable to do certain things, and now they're projecting it on Africa. They're projecting it in India and other places around the world. They're doing that. That is the worldview. They want everybody to think like them, be like them, and everything. That's what Saddam Hussein and all those people that fight against America all the time. That's one of the things that they say. They don't want to be American. They don't want to be like what's going on over here. They want to stick to what they got going on.
Yeah, I just wanted
to. Said the troll president. Yeah, Rasta.
This is being socialized with continental Africans, and when I explain the concept and I explain what it means, and we go over the essential conceptualization, they agree. They don't disagree with me. They don't even fight me. Right. Say it makes sense. And this is I've socialized that with title chiefs, title Babala Wars, title Bokors, which is a fire priest in Voodoo. They agree. So it ain't just us. We're trying to socialize this term everywhere. If, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it to the max. I'm not gonna half-ass it, It is what it is. It's just what it is. In fact, shoot, I didn't even, man, shit. I forgot I had on this shirt.
Oh yeah. The new joint.
Kimoyo, the Vitalist, baby. We got shirts.
Yeah, we got
shirts. This a whole movement. This a whole movement. This ain't just something, I'm just saying just to be saying. It's mentioned in this book. This is an African scholar.
What's that book? What's that book behind your head though, next to that picture or whatever? That mask, I mean. What is that? African what?
Hey. Let me turn my camera off. Don't be trying to get my secret sources I ain't brought out yet. Let me turn my camera.
I was trying to zoom in on that joke.
Let me turn my camera off.
I said, hold on, let me see what that is right
now. Get out of here. Nah, can't let you see that yet.
Yeah, I was looking, I was like African.
Nope.
I almost got that second word.
You supposed to be looking at me. You looking all behind.
Yeah, nah. You know me. I'm gonna look at them books. Yeah, I'm going through everybody library. What he got? I ain't got. I got to get that.
No, man. Quit looking back here.
You even make no argument, and I don't know where it's coming from. I gotta know where that's coming from, man.
When I present it, I cite the source, but
yeah, I know.
Before then, you're gonna have to wait on it.
But CK, you're absolutely correct in what you're saying with the questions that you're asking. Very valid questions, and I think a lot of people have been trying to push that narrative for like reacclimation and understanding. Yeah, shoulder surfing, Brendan. But people are just trying to get on one accord to be able to change the narrative and be able to have those things fit to where we need them to fit. And like earlier when Ankh was pretty much saying that, let me mute Kofi out. But when Ankh was pretty much saying that I was projecting something on something, no, I'm not. I actually stuck to what the Congo teachings were and how they saw things. And then I bring up modern science and how modern science is speaking in relevance to how they see things. And then what you do is you have to be you have to compare them, right? If in research you have to read the pros and the cons, the fors and the against, right? So if Ankh is against something, he has to understand African cosmology, not only ancient Egyptian cosmology, but he has to go into the Congo to understand it. He has to go into the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Hausa, the Fulani, right? The Wolof. He has to go all over the continent and try to extract the way that they saw the universe or mapped out the universe or per se how things came to be for them. And then he can get into his, well, science explains it this way today. But then he's going to give the whole notion that Homo sapiens in the frontal lobe and the yada, yada, yada. He's going to try to give us the whole, it's not, everybody does it, that whole thing. But everybody can do it, but everybody doesn't get it correct or get it as close to right as exact or even make a strong point. Like, where would you have a point of contention at when something is saying that the way the universe was absorbed based on the evidence that something had to cool off here on Earth? Like, what was wrong with the cooling process of the Congo, understanding it to be that something hot had to cool off here before life could exist, that this would be in their teachings a green planet, a breathing planet, one that could add life to life and continue life as we know it. Like, you shouldn't have a problem with that. But when you hear something like a primitive event that occurred around it, as well as known as the Luka Luwambe Nzambu or God Kugdo, i.e. the magmatic matters or the Big Bang, why would you have a contention with that? Because they said the Big Bang? Well, when this book was written, it was written well before they came off the information that people are talking about today. You know, you're looking at a book written in 1980, right? From what I'm sourcing, you're looking at a book from 1980, and then you get something in 2010 or 2004, 2010, 2017, sources that updating their information throughout that period way before 1980. So if we really want to get into the nooks and crannies of all of this, when did they begin to stop saying the Big Bang wasn't this, that, and the third? That comes after the fact. It's just like the whole spherical thing with the Earth. It wasn't known as an ellipsoid until 2004. But all through our teachings in school, they talked about globe, a sphere, abnormal egg shape.
Exactly. It's like in evolution when they talked about missing links for years. And now we know that that's not something we should even be looking for, because every step in the evolutionary process could be a quote unquote missing link. But they popularized that for years. Scientists are looking for the missing link in the evolutionary process. Come to find out, it wasn't looking for nothing like that.
Yes, CK, that is the Bantu teachings on how they saw the world.
Yeah,
that's part of their ancient teachings, and that was before Europeans. Absolutely. Now the book was published in 1980, but the ancient teachings would exist before the coming of Europeans.
Yeah. What's Rasta man kind of answered the question. For I don't know if she looked at it or not.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we trust me. Do they get everything right? No.
nope.
They don't get everything right, and they don't claim to get everything right. And I'm not going to sit here and say they do. You know, none of us are going to sit here and say they do. We just saying what they're saying, and then there's a contention with it as if this is the way that things actually occurred. That would be disingenuous. That ain't, you know what I mean? That's not the argument here. We're only okay. Did they get this wrong? All right. So let's deal with. Can we deal with what they got right, and then we okay there? Okay. So yeah, all right.
They got wrong,
and then move to what they got wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a guy, you know, looking at a do-it-yourself video and fixing something or getting some of the result, and then a professional come by and look at it like, yeah, well, you got this wrong. You could have did this way. You could have did that. But hey, for your first try, for your do-it-yourself video, hey, this don't look bad. You got to give you credit for that, you know. But so for some reason, we don't want to give them no credit. Oh, this is just terrible. This is awful. This, you know, like, no, man, we got to give them credit for that, man. I believe one of my core principles of life is giving credit where credit is due. That's just always been embedded into me, no matter who they are or what they do. You got something right, you achieve something, I give you credit. Even if I don't like you, I give you credit. It's just how I am. So when I see people trying to not give African credit for certain things that they did, you know, independent of any influence, I have to stand up for that.
Yeah, man.
Because we all know that the monotheism version of the earth being created is totally different from that.
Right, but this is my thing. Like, and then when I brought up was said that, but yeah, but this is, you know, about the Hebrew thing. I mean, like, doesn't even align with what the Hebrew thing, what the biblical narrative is. That totally taking a whole different approach here to explain how they see things in their old teachings.
Kofi, is he breaking up to you? Is it
Yeah.
just me?
Yeah, he breaking
Yeah,
up. I had to look at my internet, man. I'm
Okay, I'm not crazy.
I'm
No,
barred up.
I'm breaking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you breaking up a bit, brother.
First, I like, well, maybe my internet tripping. Let me look at my bars.
I'm doing the same thing, but I'm like, ain't nobody saying that, so I don't know if it's me or.
Yeah, it's it's on him.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you sound better.
Yeah, I was trying to I was trying to fix something on my computer, and it was loading up, so it probably was crashing on me while I was doing it because it says you're experiencing interruptions. So I figured while I was talking it was happening, but I basically what I was just sitting here saying like you know, when people are explaining certain things, people aren't saying that they're getting this right and this is right and exact, and it is what it is at that point. It's not it. It's not the case, right? And in order for us to be able to move or get to where we need to get to, we got to have these conversations. But I'm not going to dismiss it. You can't dismiss the way that they saw that world, the natural world, because when history was written from the Columbus days and in the journals and stuff of the Portuguese and all of them people that was going through explorations, right? They wrote things about what they noticed when they got to the New World, and then excluded a whole lot of other stuff. Like they try to demean the people who had established the civilization here in the New World have been established those things. So you just got to back up. Slow down a little bit. She says, wait, just making sure I am not misunderstanding you. Are you trying to say that Europeans got the idea of the Big Bang and the shape of the earth from Africans? No, I'm not saying that at all. Nobody is saying that. I don't think anyone was saying any of that. However, they had, I mean, based on their ancient teachings and things of that nature, they had developed their own worldview.
Yeah,
They
whether
wouldn't
they
just,
took from that or not, I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that. I think it was more of observing through years of scientific data. I'm not saying they got the shape or the understanding of the Big Bang from African people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what Sean's saying, that they developed their own worldview. Independent of any other people, so to speak.
My thing is, man, I just hate to look and see, like, a lot of our own people, man, just don't believe that our ancestors, contribute a lot to the world, man. It's like we never gonna get it out of this Western mindset, man. Like we never gonna uncondition ourselves or unlearn the things that, man, we learn in school. And it's like when we talk about certain things, like y'all saying, we not saying that they got everything right, and no shape, form, or fashion that we have ever said that if you listen, if a lot of people listen, we don't sensationalize Africa. We give you the good, we give you we give you the bad. You know what I'm saying? And but it just hards me, like when people just can't wrap it around their minds, man, that our ancestors made some major contributions, you know what I'm saying, to the world. And it's like we stuck. That's why in the last chapter, can't remember the name of the last chapter in my book, but I kind of explained, like, we still doing a lot of the things that are a lot of the foreigners, those foreigners that came into the Africa.
So why we turn against our traditions?
Right. And we still, and a lot of the lies and a lot of the categorizing different things, they didn't categorize different things. You know, and a lot of the lies that they set forth, man, we still spilling that same rhetoric, man, from the, you know, from the earlier 20th century, man. Those lies that they told, man, they was lying and saying all types of stuff about our ancestors didn't do this, that, and the third, and most of them had never even been on a continent, man, but they was writing, you know what I'm saying, these horrendous things about the ancestors. And then when those who went over there, you know what I'm saying, they was superimposing their worldview on them, you know what I'm saying, and logging things in that they assumed from their own perspective, but from their worldview, and say, okay, this is what this is, and that's not what it is. They got a lot of stuff wrong, man. And it's just like I said, man, it just hurt, man, that we continuing this same cycle. We in the 21st century, and we're still spitting or regurgitating the same information as those racist anthropologists, those racist foreigners, those racist news media outlets, those racist missionaries who came into Africa, those racist colonizers who came into Africa. It just seemed like every time we say something and we try to reveal some of the things that our ancestors did, somebody always got a problem with it, man. There's always got a problem with it, and they just can't believe that we was able to achieve certain things, or our ancestors contribute certain things to the world, man. It just I don't know, man. It just I don't know, man. I thought that maybe if we would do it, and that what made me go so hard, like, was to let me show a lot of the things that our ancestors just actually did. So, you know, we did a lot of presentations. You, Ben, you know, Sean did a lot of them on this channel, man. It seemed like we just keep circling the wagon with the same people asking the same question. And man, and we done talked about this 2, 3, 4 years ago. We got presentations after presentations. We got source materials after source material of the stuff that we present, man, and people are still in the chat asking the same questions over and over and over and over again, man. It's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think you said how it is, and only through studying our cultures, only through studying our traditions, our Kimoyo traditions, will we have any other lens to see the world out of.
Right.
Because I mean, every day we're surrounded by the people that, you know, exhibit these thoughts, these ideas, and these beliefs. It's embedded into our society. So in order to see anything else, you have to become immersed in something else.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I live Kimoyo. This is why I live, you know, Isheshe. I live Ifa, I live Ogun. Because one of the things that my Afa did is destabilize us, and it took away that lens of our ancestors, and we never got to grow up in the way that they saw the world. We had to read about it. We had to watch documentaries. We had to, you know, backtrack, so to speak. But you know, if you don't take on anything else, you'll continue to think in the same cultural system in which, you know, the people we're fighting against. This is what it is. You can't really see that book, Sean,
Yeah,
because you got that background.
yeah,
I'm about to change. About to change, man. I don't know why it's acting like that. Take my virtual off, man. There you go, right there.
Scientific integrity.
Mhm.
What? This is what Ankh ain't got.
Oh shit.
He ain't got scientific integrity. Because if he did, and he got into this particular monumental, this right here, some real work. This don't just talk about it, right? This thing got whole scenarios in the back to deal with stuff. They got discussion questions and case studies. So when you get into the integrity of science, it's got to be solid.
Yeah.
So when he's projecting, like he tried to criminalize and say I was doing projecting something on something, he don't understand nothing. He ain't got no integrity. He ain't got no integrity in science, no scientific integrity. So you get that. But yeah, Kofi, you're absolutely right. We have years of since what 2017. Before
Yep.
that,
Yep.
2016.
2017. 20. Yep. Yep.
We have at least 4 years of hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of videos where we dealt with certain stuff, and it is what it is from that perspective.
I just don't understand how somebody has something to say, like, and they don't even study. Like, I don't get that. Like, people are you know what I'm saying, be against something or oppose something, and and ain't even studied it, man. Ain't even studied. Like for me, like I'm a type of person now. I'm a listen, like, but I'm gonna go do my own due diligence of my own research. But if I'm looking and I'm listening to an individual who is immersed in these subject matters, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take a listen, man. I'm gonna listen, and and then when they throw out certain things, you know what I'm saying, as far as like sources, when they cite their sources and where you can get this, that, and the third from, I'm gonna go do my due diligence of research, man. It's like we say certain things, man, and won't nobody even listen. We got from we like you said, from 17, we got at least 4 or 5 years of information on this channel. So it that has to say us for something. It's not, we not on here making up nothing. We ain't on here making up nothing. We on here, we've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years. A lot of our shelves, you look at Ben Chef, like, man, it's immersed in our culture. You look at Sean's shelf, you look at my shelf, immersed in our culture. But it seems like when we say something, you know what I'm saying, nobody want to take what we say on, Facebook, or at least a little bit on face value. You know what I'm saying? We got it wrong. We got it wrong. This group, these group of men, this collective that's immersed in the studies, when we say something, we wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't take what we say, you know what I'm saying, on face value. You know what I'm saying? And they want to critique everything that we say. And man, they probably got 5 books on the shelf and probably ain't even read one of the books on the shelf, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand how you can say something on a subject that you hadn't even read or you hadn't been immersed in the information. Like, it's crazy how we on here now. We're talking about cosmology. We're talking about the African perspective, their worldview on how they got certain things right, on how science has talked about the phenomenon, or what they call the Big Bang, or whatever you want, whatever you want to call it. We on here telling you there's in multiple cultures that is talking about the very things that modern science is talking about, and y'all saying that we wrong. We don't know what the hell we talking about. Then when we put the sources up there and go from source to source, we still, I don't understand. Like I'm saying, I just don't.
Okay.
This shit will be frustrating me, man. I'm serious. This shit be.
I know, but listen to this analogy right here. All right. So I'm gonna take the pandemic. All right. So in the pandemic, scientists were doing the same thing that Africans were doing at one period of point of time. they were explaining what they knew about certain situations that they experienced in the past. They were explaining these things to people. And then what followed behind was either data that corrected them or data that supported their initial stance based on previous knowledge. Here's the example. Before the vaccines actually rolled out, right? They were estimating how this pandemic would pan out, how many people would be infected, how many people could possibly die, how the vaccine would be able to do X, Y, and Z. They didn't know how well the vaccine would perform until they had initial data. And then they said when it gets in the real world, then we'll see how it really performs based on previous data. So the science followed behind the projection and bagged it up and then made it clearer as it progressed. So when these different African tribes spoke about their teachings long ago, and then science comes in and supports in part, not in whole, some of the things that was projected in the teachings, then it would only be fitting. But those are things that people look at. This is why I talk about integrity. That's why I pulled a book out, Scientific Integrity, because when you look at that, it even gets into that whole thing, and that's it goes back to understanding what we always argue for is research methodology. Like, how did you come to that conclusion? What methods are you using? Are your emotions in the way?
Yeah. Hey, who is Sean? You know who is from West Africa, man? We need to take his name away from him. You know what?
He's just trolling.
Yeah, we need to take his name away from him, man. What and what? So I'm gonna ask you something.
He's trolling, Kofi.
But let me ask you something. So let's say, like, okay, let's say, okay, you wrote the book What SARS-CoV Taught Me, right? Mm-hmm. It's the first in our community so that's a major that's a major contribution. You made a major contribution during the pandemic. You definitely made a major contribution. There's no doubt about it. You made a major contribution to the pandemic. You really informed the people, right, of the pandemic. You answered a lot of questions that was going on. You killed a lot of faulty information that was going on. You got people that was on the fence, got vaccinated. You got people to understand, what actually immune system is, right? So you made it. So if I say, brother, Sean made a major contribution during the pandemic, I appreciate that, brother. That brother and Ankh helped my wife. They saved my wife's life. And they saved some other people's life. They made a major contribution. And I continue to say that. Is that blackology for me saying you made a contribution to our community? Does that make it blackology because I'm giving you your flowers and saying you made a fucking contribution? Your contribution to the community was a major contribution. So is that blackology for me saying it? Because when I'm trying to understand this thing too. Like, it seemed like
Kofi, what did I tell you what was gonna happen when y'all just said y'all wanted to write books? What I tell you, Kofi?
What
I tell you, Sean? What did I tell you what was gonna happen?
You're gonna have more haters.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna like it.
Did you think I was making that up?
I hoped you was.
Oh, you hoped
I hoped you was, man. I hope you. But I'm cool though with it. Like I'm cool with it. I used to, this shit. I mean, like I get frustrated at times. Like, but a lot of this stuff like used to, like break my heart. Like I'm gonna tell you, it's been plenty of times where I'm like, man, I'm out of here. I don't give a damn what they got going. I mean, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. Sean can tell you I know how to probably try to tap out 3 times because it would just hurt my feeling. But now, you know what I'm saying? I got thick things. I mean, thick skin. You know, like I say, it's just frustrated. You know what I'm saying? But it don't hurt me. No, it don't really hurt me too bad. But I just don't get it, bro. Like, I just don't understand. I really don't. I don't understand us, bro. Like, I really don't.
That's a long, it's a long process, man. It's you have to understand like the limits and lengths people will go to when they are envious and the poison mindset they have when it comes to people in their own community. It's something that doesn't make sense. It's not logical, but it is within our phenomenon in this environment, in this demographic. So we acknowledge it being real, but I've seen it on multiple levels. It's just what it is. And you said something earlier about people talking about stuff that they don't know about. They do that to save face. They do that to retain some type of popularity, and people expect you to be an expert on every little thing. I don't talk about stuff I don't know about.
Me neither. I stay out of stuff.
And if we were having a conversation and I don't know, I'm like, hey man, what does that mean? What does that mean that you say? And I do that because it comes out of my culture. It comes out of my spiritual tradition. It comes out of my Kimoyo. It comes out of Isheshe. In the Odu Ika Ofun, they talk about the 16 elders that walked into the land. The first rule that they established was they advised them not to call Isuru Esuru. Now, you probably thinking like, those are the same words, right? But I use the tonal marks differently. Mm-hmm. One of them is a yam species. One of them are special beads. So it's saying, this is to say, not to say what you do not know. That's right. That's the first law of E5. Not to say what you do not know. That's really easy, right? But you'd be surprised how many people break that on a daily basis, On a daily basis. They can't help but to speak with authority about something, that never looked at, never studied, don't really care about. But all of a sudden it becomes important when, ego and pride come into the mix. All of a sudden, and then when you give them the information and it's contrary to what they believe, think, or feel, it's, oh, it ain't that serious, bro. But it was serious enough in the moment for you to come on shows and do stuff. And I'm not talking to anybody in particular, but that's just what people do. And I know that frustrates you, Kopi, but that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes people just...
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
But I try to stick to that law, no matter what.
Yeah.
Don't talk about stuff you don't know about.
Right. Shit, yeah, man. Too, man. But this, and I want to say this too. I've been noticing out there too, or a lot of people that's been saying they for Africa, man. Your words ain't been matching up, man. Your words ain't been matching up, man.
That's gonna continue to happen,
man. I'm telling you, man. I see, man. I'm like, damn. I didn't know this this brother was so anti-African, man. I didn't know this
That's
brother.
going to continue to happen as long as we don't study our cultures.
Yeah, I said, man.
We don't study our cultures. We're going to continue to further assimilate, as Amos Wilson said, further assimilate into the culture in which we live in. It's kind of natural in a suspect when you don't have anything else. You become assimilate.
And this blackology thing, man, like what determines it not to be blackology? Like okay, like we're talking.
Darwin got to say it.
Kofi, we have to understand we're dealing with people that use terms they don't understand themselves. Blackology is just something they made up. There's no official definition. There's no rules. I can just apply it to anything. They did the same thing with the word pseudo. That's why I wrote that article. People don't know that pseudo is short for pseudoscience, meaning something has to have a claim of science and not be using the scientific method to explain the hypothesis that they have and record the results. If they are not following that scientific method and claiming it's science, it is now pseudoscience. That is simple, but people apply it to anything they disagree on.
Y'all just made a whole new group of humans without belief.
So it's just people don't study the culture.
Let it go, Ankh. You got beat up.
So they don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, because it's just like you'll give the European credit, but then when we highlight something, you know what I'm saying, from one of our ancestors, oh man, y'all sensationalize it, man. Y'all blackology. You know what I'm saying? But then on the other hand, you will tell me something that a European and make, this contribution that this European made. We got to follow this European because he made this contribution and he said this, that, and the third. So I just be confused with the people, bro. I just be confused with the people. So and I'm saying that because I seen the brother from West Africa. He said he out. He said this is blackology for sure. He out. So I'm just trying to understand. Like you said, it's no definition. I was just trying to understand it. So it's when we
So Kofi, let me ask you this. You know what I'm saying? So is Darwin's contribution was Darwin's contribution to the world better than West Africans' contribution to the New World?
Is Darwin contribution?
Yeah.
I got a better question, Sean. Was Darwin's contribution better than John Edmonstone's?
Facts. His teacher.
Because John Edmonstone was the one that taught him about taxonomy with bird stuffing, right? Now, did John Edmonstone have everything right?
No.
But he inspired Darwin, right?
Facts.
He inspired Darwin to look at natural selection. But we can pick everything that John Edmonstone had wrong when he was bird stuffing.
I ain't too familiar with him.
But through his bird stuff
is where Darwin kind of picked up his path.
Facts. So I'm gonna get off of here, man, because I can't be on here all night.
All right.
Appreciate y'all coming on and letting me talk, man, and build or whatever. But I'm gonna get off of here, bro.
All right, bro.
What we at 240?
Yeah. 240.
Yes.
It'll be all right there. Why it'll be some people clip it up.
All right, bro.
Yeah. All right, Panther, man. Well, I'll let you.
Peace.
Yeah, peace.
Just let it go. Go to sleep. Remember, it's too late. Remember, you gotta get up. Just let it go. Go to sleep. Relax. It's okay. It's okay. You're the first person to claim to, not claim. You're the first person to tell people to source up in the community and to try to demonstrate proper research methodology around these parts, right? Yet you don't condone in getting the sources that you want to critique on a live show and deal with. Well, one of the sources you can get, because you can't get After God, There's No Debate, because the book is highly priced. You know, that book's way too much. Let you want to go ahead and spend $1,000 on getting the book.
Yeah, I mine going for 1,500.
And there's no PDF available for that book either. You can't find a PDF for that. So I could understand you on that point. But my whole thing is that no one's making the claims that you actually said that they were making. And you make a lot of projections. And see, now you're arguing back and forth without a proper understanding of certain things because your feelings is attached to it. You've attached your feelings to it now. And it's not even that. You know what I'm saying? And then hold on, what he says, Taylor. So how did people in Africa get out of having beliefs? Nope. See, you're moving the goalposts. If we center in the argument properly, right? And we were just having a conversation toward the end of this that had nothing to do with nothing else, but framing the conversation toward the end has to do with the way that people are behaving and responding to certain things because they're emotionally attached to something that they don't want to understand. Like you literally have no. This is what I mean by people being anti-Africa, because you 1 minute you want to use Africa to uh defend against certain arguments that other people make, and then the next minute you don't want to deal with Africa because the scientism part of it comes out. And I don't even like that word because I think people that use that word project that on people falsely. But at some point, the truth of the matter is this: like, we know that they didn't have the tools to measure and do the things that they can today. That's just I mean, that's just understood. But you can't tell these people that they were wrong in their teachings, in their early teachings, and then science comes behind them, and after doing the things that they did, help substantiate some of the teachings, not all, some of the teachings based on what was going on. So that gives their teachings validity. So now they can go back and say, hey, this is what science says today. And they can change some of the ancient teachings and correct what is wrong. Because what does science teach us? It teaches us to know and to do. But also, we know one major thing about science. Science is self-correcting, meaning they were wrong about masks earlier on in the pandemic, and not even 2 weeks, 2 months later, they came back and corrected themselves about masks. That happened this year. Science is self-correcting. But they never projected it to be science. It was just their teachings. However, science came in and corrected some of their teachings. Cool. But science also helped substantiate some of the path that they were on in that time. But they didn't call it science. Like all the other stuff. That's why I said you jumped out the window, Ankh, not me. You jumped out the window because I clearly didn't say anything that you actually would have true contention with at all. Because when I started saying for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of the primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as Luku Luamba Nzambe. God cooked dough, i.e., the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. It is the result. They didn't say the Big Bang was this. They didn't say the something came from outer space, hit the earth, blew it up, and all of that. They didn't say that. They says it is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process. In order for something to cool, something had to be hot. It said the cooling process, satellites and planets. It is the process of cosmic expanding fires. According to the Congo teaching, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in our solar system. On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in three main layers or zones, depending on if it is in green, gray, or a red state. Green or breathing state, and then it defines what that is. Green or breathing planets are living planets because they have completed the four great formation stages of the Congo cosmogram known as the Kinga dia Congo. Not the astrophysics cosmogram. It says the what? The four great formation stages of Congo cosmogram. The key word to these planets is greenness, the vitality given nature. Green planets, like our own planet Earth, can be thought of as the oldest planets to the solar systems. The Earth, for example, can be seen for the Bantu people, not the Ankh West people, the Bantu people as the oldest planet on the solar system. Green planets occupy the center of systems in our expanding universe. The expanding creative fire energy that departed from the first event, or the Big Bang, was not an experimental explosion from a laboratory, say the Bantu Congo. It was a natural imperative order to bring a transformation process into being throughout the universe and into all its planets until their full maturity, i.e., be able to breathe and give and carry life. To our present knowledge, to our present knowledge, our planet, the Earth, is the only planet known that has far fulfilled this order. It is green and does not only give life, but it is able to sustain it up to now as well. Does this Earth not sustain life? Is this not what would be considered a green planet? Is this not something that formulated through its transformation process that occurred naturally until its full maturity? These are the things that was said, and you shunned it. And then it says gray planets. Gray planets are without life. Do you not agree with that concept or understanding of Congo teaching? That gray planet, they just basically called it gray planets and said there's no life there. Is there life at Pluto? We don't know it to be life at Pluto or some of these other planets, right? They're searching. So let's say from as far as we know today, with the information that we have, the planets that don't have some form of life on it, we can call them gray planets. You don't have to call them gray planets, but to the Congo, to the Bantu people, they call them gray planets. Ain't no life there. It's just that simple. And then they go on to the red planets. They call them the hot planets, are actually burning planets. They are still matters in fusion without a clearly defined shape or form. They are their primitive or first stage of planetary formation process, their Big Bang stage. These planets form the actual last frontier of the system, such as our own. Beyond these frontiers are infinite dark fields to be invaded by the future firing process of expanding systems. So as far as the unknown, they're clearly calling those red planets. They're saying there's nothing to be known about those planets. They haven't actually came into their transformation stage. They haven't hit some sort of what, quote unquote, their Big Bang. The Congo didn't say the Big Bang. They didn't say the Big Bang was a blast. That wasn't used here. It wasn't used. So I don't understand where you truly have a whole argument at. It's their teachings. So you're against their teachings, and then you now go and look and read what you know about the Big Bang, because we've heard a lot about the Big Bang, and then we've also heard them retract some things, and then they go in and fine tune it and fix it. And this is why those creationist people argue with you. Not see, Sheffrin, that's where you keep saying each planet gets their Big Bang, bro. To them, I don't know how to slow this down for y'all. I truly don't. I truly don't. All they're saying is those planets that haven't developed hasn't went through a maturation process like the Earth has. So therefore, they have not had their quote unquote Big Bang. That's all it's saying. What's difficult or hard to understand about that is it simply says what it just said. Those planets have not went through their maturation. They're still in their first stage. It's a primitive planet that hasn't gone through its stages. What other planets have gone through what the Earth has gone through? Name all the planets that have went through the same experiences as the planet Earth. I don't know what the problem is either, CK. Ankh made up a problem. Because clearly when people are explaining things from their worldview, it's unjust. This is what I mean by where the line is drawn for most people. They don't understand things. See, now he's like, what are you talking about? You see how dumb he gets at nighttime? Go to bed, Ankh. Sutek said, fuck, do I need to put the subtitles up or something? Nah, man, I'm not going. We're too far into this video. We're too far into this video to get into breakthroughs. So nah, I'm not gonna get into. I'm just gonna do it. Probably do it tomorrow. And that shows your ignorance and your intelligence level right there. And you better than that. You're supposed to be. Go ahead, Cole.
Certain words just certain words. That word go again. Like I don't know, man. I just that word is, man. I'm so what's Unc saying is Blackology 101. So that's what I'm saying. What
How? Explain. Okay, so look. Okay, that's Blackology, right? This book was written in 1980. It's Black. Okay, cool, great. Now let's go deal with let's go put some whiteology on it.
But see that's
since it's only accepted by them, because they're the only people that do this. See, right, I have no problem with neither source, because I don't trust anybody. But however, we're gonna put the Big Bang Theory is our best guess about the universe.
Sean, but that go back to my point. Like, if that go back to my point, like we don't even value our own people, man. Like you got to put up a white source. Wait a minute, you got to put up a white source in order for people. That's what I'm saying. In order for people to dig it. That's the same thing I be saying, man. Like we so conditioned. Like I can tell my wife something. I'm just making an example. Tell my wife something. And somebody that does not look like me can come back and tell my wife the same thing. But just because somebody that looks different than her, they uttering off each word. They accepting the fact that, okay, this person is different, so this person must know what he's talking about. So it goes back to the self-hate thing again. We have to have a white scholar put in front in order for it to be valid. That's I don't get that. It's blackology if we put a black source up there. It's law if we put a white source up there.
Yeah, so let's use the law since they're much better at this than Africans were at that time. Just putting forth their best explanation to teach their children and themselves about the universe and how the earth came to be. So the Big Bang Theory is our best guess about how the universe began. So what was the Big Bang? The Big Bang is the leading explanation for how the universe began. Simply put, it says the universe as we know it started with an infinite hot and dense single point that inflated and stretched. Let me start that again. The Big Bang Theory is the leading explanation for how the universe began. Simply put, it says the universe as we know it started with an infinitely hot and dense single point that inflated and stretched, first at the unimaginable speeds and then at more measurable rate over the next 13.8 billion years to still expanding cosmos that we know today. Existing technology doesn't yet allow astronomers to literally peer back at the universe's birth. Much of what we understand about the Big Bang comes from mathematical formulas and models. Astronomers can, however, see the echo of the expansion through a phenomenon known as the cosmic microwave background. While the majority of the astronomical community accepts the theory, there are some theorists who have alternative explanations besides the Big Bang, such as eternal inflation or an oscillating universe. Around 13.7 billion years ago, everything in the entire universe was condensed in an infinitesimally small singularity at point of infinite density and heat. Why does the word heat keep appearing, Ankh? You ain't sleep now. You ain't sleep now. Suddenly, an explosive expansion began. What do you mean by explosive? Please explain that to me. Ballooning our universe outwards faster than the speed of light. This was a period of cosmic inflation that lasted mere fractions of a second, about 10 to the 32nd of a second, according to physicist Alan Guth's 1980 theory that changed the way we think about the Big Bang forever. When cosmic inflation came to a sudden and still mysterious end, the more classic descriptions of the Big Bang took hold. A flood of a matter of radiation known as reheating. Why does the word heat keep appearing, Ankh? Reheating began populating our universe with the stuff we know today, particles, atoms, the stuff that we would become stars and galaxies and so on. This all happened within just a few seconds after the universe began, when the temperature of everything was still insanely hot. What? A hot what? Universe at about 10 billion degrees Fahrenheit, 5.5 billion Celsius, according to NASA. The cosmos now contained a vast array of fundamental particles such as neutrons, electrons, protons, and raw materials that would become the building blocks for everything that exists today. Now, we can, if we want to be petty, we can put this through the same scrutiny as you trying to instigate an argument over there for blackology, Abjuware. You ain't too much rocking Abju right now. So when you came with that foolishness, my guy, I'm going to spit it back at you. Everybody can have a damn problem with what was just explained here. First of all, how the hell did you come up with the calculation, right, of 13.7 billion years? What mathematical equation helped you come to that conclusion? Where's the evidence for that? You just guessed it? You went through a whole bunch of stuff? How did you get to 13.7 or 14 billion years? How exactly? Where's the mathematical equation for that? What about how did you measure the degree of heat when the universe began? How did you do that? You have no snapshot of that. You was not there when all of this transpired. How did you know this insanely hot temperature happened that you kept saying wasn't hot? There was no heat. There was no fire. There was no cooling. How did you succumb to that? Where's the scientific data that would help support that this universe was hot as hell? And how the hell do we know how hot hell is? But 10 billion degrees Fahrenheit, how did you measure that? Sometimes called the afterglow of the Big Bang, this light more properly known as the cosmic microwave background. It was first predicted by Ralph Alpher and other scientists in 1948. But we have no issues here. This accidental discovery happened. Oh, accidental study? An accidental discovery transpired? Are you shitting me? So they just so happened to stumble up on this discovery when Arnaud Payez and Robert Wilson, both of Bell Telephone Laboratories in New Jersey, were building a radio receiver in 1965 and picked up higher than expected temperatures. At first, they thought the anomaly was due to pigeons trying to roost inside the antenna and their waste, but they cleaned up the mess and killed the pigeons, and then anomaly persisted. Simultaneously, a Princeton team led by Robert Dyke, or if they call him Dick, was trying to find evidence for the CMB and realized that Penzin and Wilson had stumbled upon it with their strange observation. So they can stumble upon something with a strange observation, but Africans can't do the same thing because you said that's blackology. But here we have these people from Princeton who just so happen to stumble upon something that helped further the conversation and further the discovery and get to a point to where we see the data building up for this whole Big Bang as we know it to come into fruition. So, Mr. Sleepy Man.
I ain't sleep no more.
Yeah, your ass bet not be sleep.
So this is my point I'm gonna make.
No, I ain't done. I ain't done.
Yeah, you done because you messing
No,
up.
I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done.
Anti-universe
I ain't
now, yo.
done.
Yeah,
I ain't.
yeah,
How the fuck am I? I ain't saying that. No, no.
Right now,
No, I'm reading the article. I'm reading the article. I'm reading the article.
You know that's a theory,
I'm reading the source. I'm reading the source.
No
How am I anti anything? When I'm rocking with all that, I have no problem with this. I have no problem with this. But you do.
That's not a scientific article, Sean. Come on, yo. One person wrote that, bro. You bugging.
Elizabeth Howell and Andrew May published it on November 5th, 2021.
Listen, that's an opinion piece.
This is on space.com.
Yo, that's still an opinion piece, bro. Okay? That's not how it worked. They didn't guess it. The Big Bang is a theory. It's not a guess, bro. Our best guess. That's just their language, the way they talking. Come on, yo. Knock that off, yo. I'm just trying not to go all the way in on that, yo. You ain't no bro. You know it.
You disagree with this? You disagree with what was said in this?
It's an opinion piece.
No, but do you
didn't mean guess, bro? The Big Bang is not a guess, Sean. What are you talking about?
Quit getting caught up in that.
Best guess.
Quit. Listen.
No, a guess, yo, Sean. They're not guessing about how
does the scientific method work?
Variants come into being.
How does the scientific method
just
work?
Writing an opinion piece, yo.
How does the scientific method work? I just want to
get off there for a minute, man.
No, how does the scientific method work?
Sean, y'all playing me crazy.
How does the scientific
y'all know what I mean
work?
When I say blackology, bro.
No, we don't.
Sean,
how does the scientific method work?
It's not a guess, Sean. Come on, man.
How does the method start?
I don't know, Sean. It don't start from a guess.
Okay, all right.
It don't start from a guess, Sean.
All right.
You know it, and I know
so,
it. Don't start from a guess, Sean. It don't start from a guess, Sean. You know it. Come on, dude.
You gotta stop that, bro. Like, why would you say that? Come on, man. Now, Blackology, Chef, where you at, Shavers? Where you at? Don't you run either. You've been typing fingers. You've been Twitter fingering. All right.
Here's the method. Is this not the method?
There ain't no guess.
Is this not the method? You
Right,
ask
no,
a question.
Show me where the guess at, Sean.
You do okay.
Show me where the guess at, Sean.
What happens when you're asking a question?
It's not a guess, Sean. It's a question.
So it's a question.
A question.
Okay, so this is the best
question.
So okay, so you have a problem with space.com.
Man, it's not a problem, Sean. They just writing a piece. It's not a scientific treatise.
I'm just asking you, I'm asking you have a problem. You had a problem
with the way you spinning it, yo.
I ain't spinning nothing.
You is spinning
no,
it, man.
I ain't.
You emphasize the guess. They not really meaning the guess right there. Yo, when they said it's our best guess, they didn't mean that literally, yo. Come on, bro. You gotta stop that.
I have no problem with what's being said in the article.
Sean,
why do you?
Sean, listen.
Why do you?
See, this is what y'all doing right now, which is bullshit.
No, I ain't know what we're doing.
It's bullshit.
No, it's what you doing.
What you did.
It's
what you did, Sean.
It's what you
doing.
You
took the word guess out of an opinion piece and then say, so the Africans can't guess. So that make people think that both sides was guessing. No, the Africans probably was guessing.
Okay, so you're telling me.
So no,
you're telling me that they were not guessing.
No, I'm saying no, they wasn't guessing, bro.
And
you know, Sean.
They were guessing earlier on Sean, in their whole little.
Sean, you know the way you just did that. You mix two things together, yo, and then you make it. Then y'all make me hold on. Then y'all make me out to stumble up on. Make me out to be the bad guy. Right?
You made yourself. I don't need my help.
Shade is jumping in this motherfucker saying, so I'm going against the African worldview. See, that's the bullshit y'all doing right now.
No,
that I don't
did.
Sean. Hey, Sean. Kofi and Sean. I'm gonna tell you the bullshit y'all on right now. I'm gonna call you out live on the air. Shavers, I'm calling y'all live on the air. Yes, I am. Just talk over me then, yo. Here's the bullshit.
I am.
Okay, here's the bullshit. When we're talking about African worldview, right? That means how they see the world, their viewpoint, their cultural expressions, right? To make it seem like I'm going against that because I'm talking about a scientific theory is fucking ridiculous, dog. And the fact that y'all can't tell the difference between that's Blackology. When you trying to make a person be strictly talking about science, and then you say I'm trying to take away their worldview. Dude, they got every right. No, bro, they got every right to have a worldview.
What you're doing is minimizing the African perspective.
No,
you did it,
dude.
We watched you.
Dude,
everybody is aware of that.
Hey, dude, I don't care about
we don't have to make it up. We have 3 hours of it.
Y'all made that shit up, my nigga.
What is a hypothesis?
African perspective.
What is a hypothesis?
An educated guess from the layman.
So what is it?
A scientific.
No, I didn't ask you a layman. What you know when I'm talking to you, I'm talking science.
Okay, so a scientific hypothesis is not a fucking educated guess.
What is it?
It's data.
Give it to us.
It's data, bro. It's data.
Give us the scientific definition.
It's data.
I'm gonna ask you again.
Don't unk me. I said it's data, bro.
Okay.
I said it. What the hell was wrong with you tonight, Sean? What the hell wrong with you, bro?
I asked you for the scientific definition, bro.
All right, okay, well, I'm gonna look it up now.
Thank you.
It's data, though. It's not a guess. Come on, man. That's some bullshit, man. Y'all know what I'm saying, bro. I don't even preach y'all saying that's the African worldview. Wait a minute, bro. We talking science here. And science participating and Africans participate in science. That's why y'all got me fucked up right now. Yo.
So say it again. Like, Africans did what?
I said Africans right now in this day participate in science. So for y'all to talk about that's their view, dude, Europeans got a view, the Chickasaw Indians got a fucking view. That's not what we talking about here. And the fact y'all keep mixing together, yo, is appalling.
I ain't mixing.
You is doing that, bro. Everybody can clearly hear y'all saying, no, I'm not emotional. No, I'm not emotional, bro. I'm making a clear point here, Sean. Sean, I'm not emotional. Yes, I'm gonna tell you, every time y'all bring up the African worldview with science, that's a bunch of debauchery, bro. And you know it. Yes, you do, bro. Everybody got a right to make up.
What is a scientific hypothesis? I asked you that.
Oh, man. Hey, Sean, I tell you like this, yo. If you rob me, yo, I'm gonna go all the way in.
A scientific hypothesis is the initial building block to a scientific method. Many describe it as an educated guess based on prior knowledge and observation. While this is true, the definition can be expanded. So what we're looking at is the expanded definition.
Keep reading, Sean.
Trust me, I've already read this over and over and over. I even have it in the presentation that I did on it.
Sean?
So a hypothesis also includes an explanation of why the guess may be correct, according to National Science Teachers Association. I clearly know this. I already knew what
act like you know it then, Sean. Act like you know it. It ain't the same thing when we talking about African worldview, bro.
The basic idea of a hypothesis is that there is no predetermined outcome.
Of course, Sean.
Move it on. Move it on up.
What is you talking about? Oh, man, y'all niggas, man. Y'all lost y'all mind.
No. We're sane over here. You're talking to the people that actually read books and study.
Hey, Sean. Here's the mistake.
We don't know articles.
And now I'm starting to think you're doing it on purpose, Sean. Now I realize you're doing it.
We read books and study over here.
Bro,
I don't know what you're used to.
Sean, we read books don't mean shit. Let me get this straight.
We read books and study.
Hey, Sean,
over here.
You playing the game, Sean.
On this channel.
Sean, you play on this channel, you on some bullshit tonight.
We read
on this channel right here. It's a bunch of bullshit. Nigga.
Books and study on this channel.
So check this out. We're gonna start talking at the same time.
I don't care. I just
would have to read one book about.
Watch this. Watch this.
Oh, my bad. I got my damn mic mute. Hold on, y'all. I got my damn mic unmuted. I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nigga, you think I'm a joke now? Yo.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Appreciate that.
Go
I
ahead.
never did you like that.
I don't think you're a joke.
I got you. I got you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I swear to God, on my mother grave, I got you.
That's fine.
Got you.
Don't swear to God. You don't believe in God. Ain't no God but nature. Your shirt say ain't no God but nature.
We're gonna remember this night, yo.
Your shirt say ain't no God but nature.
Yeah, we're gonna remember this.
Your shirt say ain't no God but nature.
All right.
So don't swear on your mother grave.
All right. Hey, yo, it's the funny, yo.
Nah.
Funny show.
No.
Overtalk.
You try to bully me. You try to bully me. You try to bully me on your channel. You try to bully me on the Pseudo Killas. So now you mad now.
You asked me a question like
I can go back and play the clip.
Sean.
You try to bully me on the
damn lie, Sean. You asked me a million questions, nigga.
Because you was trying to act like you didn't understand. You try to act like the earth wasn't hot. You said the earth was never hot. You kept on trying to deny that. And I said, well, how the hell it go through a cooling process? I did, Ankh. I asked you that. Was the earth hot?
Bro? Sean,
no, I want to complain. I'm where I got controls. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
You stupid, man.
I asked you, Ankh, was it hot? When everything transpired, was it hot? Science says that it was hot, and then it went through a cooling process. And you said, Ankh, you said you tried to stay away from that, and I went to the Congo.
I swear, yo, this is the last thing I do, yo. I'm gonna pound your ass to the ground,
because they said that. I don't care what you do. It don't matter to me. Don't matter to me.
The last thing I do,
don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter. I ain't gonna love you no more, no less.
I got you. No,
don't matter. Okay, you got me. What's next?
I got you.
What's next?
Don't just make sure you don't let me talk tonight.
Hey, I ain't gonna stop you from talking.
Yeah,
I just might talk when you talk.
All right. Okay. All right.
I just might talk when you talk.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I know. All right, okay.
It's all fun, Joe. All right.
Yeah, when the rabbit got the gun. When the rabbit got the gun.
Let him talk, Sean.
I ain't do like that, Sean.
No. I'm gonna go straight to the Pseudo Killas and play the video.
And you will listen to
play
the video, Sean.
You try to play the little bully game.
No, I didn't. I ain't bullying you. That's the way you felt, nigga. You felt it was in your heart.
Now I felt.
Yeah, that's how you felt.
Oh, okay, that's how I felt.
I was simply trying to have.
So how you feel? How you feel right now? How you feel right now?
I feel like you're running from something. You running.
How you feel? I ain't ran from nothing.
You running.
Prove that I'm running.
You running.
I read the same source
Me and Ben had a
16,000
conversation.
times.
I can't have a conversation
So,
with you because you running.
You said you was going to sleep.
Nah, I changed my mind, nigga.
You
After
don't look
slander.
sleep now.
After
2 hours. Ain't nobody slandered you.
Kofi.
Oh, your feelings hurt.
Hey, Kofi.
Your feelings hurt.
What up? Kofi, you slandered me, yo. Chavez, you slandered me, yo. I ain't never slandered y'all, yo.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
His
feelings hurt.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm trying to get some clarification.
How did I slander you?
Was there a question mark after that?
How did I slander you?
Why did you slander? Everybody died to the slander, yo. Got y'all, yo.
I'm trying to ask. I was trying to get clarification to get understanding. But wait. But when those same type of questions are asked, that's crazy. You can't. I don't see that. I'm okay. I'm saying even with you, I asked a question. There was a question mark at the end. That wasn't a statement, right?
I don't know what you're talking about right now, yo. Y'all know how y'all doing it, yo.
No, man, you tripping.
Hey, yo, do you realize y'all saying, yo, so the Africans can't have a worldview? And if the Africans can't have a worldview,
I never accused you, Unc. I never accused Unc West of ever making that claim.
Hey, Sean, can you just shut the fuck up, yo?
Nope.
Because you're doing too much, yo.
No, I ain't.
On some, you is, yo, because now I'm serious,
I'm not,
yo. You is,
I'm
yo. Once you turn down the alley, ain't no turning back.
I never said that you made that claim.
No, don't.
Nobody on this panel said that you.
You pushing it to the wrong way, though, yo. And I'm saying I don't do that. I let off the gas,
claim,
yo. I ain't making
you said that.
Sean, I'm in the chat. I'm talking to Chavez. He says, right? Kofi say, niggas, y'all don't read no books. Y'all don't read books on African spirituality. As if that's the point we making right now. It's like everybody got super confused. They got into their little moment. So I would never have to read one damn book on African spirituality. And please don't call it African spirituality, because you say ain't no religion, ain't none of that. So whatever word you want to use, I would never have to read a book on that, because we strictly talking about, hold on, dude. We talking about Homo sapiens sapiens. Strict Homo sapiens sapiens all believe. There's no getting around that. So I don't have to know nothing about African, whatever you want to call it, to know that they fall in the category of Homo sapiens sapiens. Simple as that right there. So that's a misnomer to even begin to say that. The second point is, we wasn't talking about their worldview. We were talking about science. Science is a universal thing. It has nothing to do with your worldview. And all y'all know it, but y'all mix it together. And that's the blackology part. That's blackology right there to say, well, you're not respecting the African paradigm. Wait a minute. Whoa. I'm not. The African worldview and paradigm has nothing to do with science. It's two separate things. It's two separate things. I ain't joked the African paradigm. I didn't laugh at that. I simply said that it wasn't the Big Bang. Simple as that. It's their mythology. Well, they don't got mythology. It's their philosophy. They don't have philosophy. Well, what the hell did they have then? Y'all gotta tell me. What I'm saying is that, one, it wasn't a guess. The Big Bang ain't a guess. A scientific hypothesis ain't a guess. None of that is that. So I don't know why y'all try to mix it. Is beyond me. That's why we beefing on this, because y'all mixing it. I'm not disrespecting the African worldview. I'm not disrespecting the Chinese worldview. Everybody got a worldview. But when it comes to them damn numbers, when it comes to measurements, when it comes to looking at the cosmic background radiation, yo, you got to get your worldview out of there, because it all mess up when you do that. That's what I'm saying is the blackology part. To continue to say, we can't have a worldview. Come on, dude, I fight for that. In matters of political, your language, that's different from science. And y'all know that, man.
So you have a problem when it says
wait a minute, though.
Know that, Sean.
Sociology is a science, right or wrong?
We're not talking.
That's a science, though. That's a science.
Hold on, Chase.
The Big Bang.
Hold on, Chase.
Switching it.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, so when the
Bantu
come out and they, Ankh,
How am I
when the
wrong?
Bantu come out and
Kofi, why I
just
gotta
listen
read
to
a
me.
book on African spirituality, Kofi, to talk about the Big Bang, which is a
Hold
scientific treatise?
on, I'm
It's
about to
absurd.
I'm about to let Kofi talk to you about what Kofi want to talk to you about. But what I'm saying is, when they say for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of a primitive event that occurred in and around it. Do you have a problem with that?
I do not have a problem with their worldview and their mythology, bro. So to keep saying it is bananas at this point. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so
you cannot, Sean, you
when I
cannot
say,
get mad at me
so
because I say their
hold
worldview
on,
and their cosmology
I
is
think you
not the
don't
Big Bang.
understand what I'm saying. I
Yo,
don't
I'm
think that
trying
you
to, I
understand
get
what I'm
what you,
saying.
no, I know what I'm saying. I know
But you
what I'm
don't know what
saying,
I'm
yo.
saying. And that's
So
what
what are
I'm
you
saying the
saying?
problem is. Right. So back to what I was saying. When I said for the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of a primitive event. And then they go on to say that this event was that occurred in and around it, and it deals with magmatic matters, which they say the Big Bang. And then it says it is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process. Do you have a problem with that?
That's their worldview. I don't have a problem with their worldview. The problem comes in when you try to mesh it with the Big Bang. And I know you hear me, bro.
Meshing it with the Big Bang,
That's what
bro. I
you're
am
doing.
clearly
It's two
saying
separate things. You're not
no.
saying
What
what
I'm
that's saying, Sean. It's two
okay.
separate things.
This
One is
is where I'm
scientific, and
saying
the one,
we're detached
Sean, you don't see
from.
that?
This is because I'm not saying what you think that I'm saying.
Sean, man.
I'm not projecting that, Unc. I am saying what they are saying, and I'm saying what science is saying. I have always professed to say the same thing. I said, this is what the Bantu teachings are, and this is what science says.
Sean,
I'm not merging the two together.
Big
I never
Bang
was,
theory.
Unc. That's what I'm
So
trying
then
to
what
tell
do we,
you.
okay, so why mention in the same vein? Because it's two separate things. One is science, and one is their cosmology, bro. They mythology, they worldview, two separate things. No more different because if you get that space, then the Hebrews can do the same thing. Then the Christian can do the same, and everybody can start doing that, bro.
The science
The science don't say what
disagree.
they're saying, Sean.
No, listen to
They
me.
don't.
The science disagree in what I basically said that they said in their teachings. The science disagree with it an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process.
Sean, you playing a game right now, yo, and it's a
I am
dangerous
not.
game.
I'm asking a question.
I am telling you
I
that
am
that is not
asking a
scientific.
question.
I answered it. That is not
You
scientific. No
never
matter
said
how you try
it
to
They
was
play.
never made that claim,
scientific.
Kent.
Never said it was
What are we
scientific.
talking about then? If it's not science, then what are we? So then why match it together?
Let's go back
Why
and
try
watch
to
the
put it with
video,
that?
man. Let's go back and watch the video. So not gonna
Kofi,
keep
where
going
you at,
round
Kofi?
and round. We're not gonna keep going round and round with this shit. Man.
Where you at, Kofi?
We're really not.
Unmute yourself, Kofi.
I'm good,
So Kofi,
man.
so you don't understand what blackology is, Kofi?
Nah,
Nobody understands it, not even you.
I don't understand it,
I
bro.
completely understand what it
Nobody
is.
understands it. It's a made up bullshit.
No, I completely understand.
And the only
It's
thing
just
I
like the
get out
word
of
more. It means everything and nothing at the same time.
Kofi.
only thing I
Can't
get
say
out
he
of
good, man.
yeah, the only thing I said the only thing I get out of it is that it's when you big up something from what I'm saying. I'm gonna say because I only hear it from one particular group. That's the Pseudo Killas. That's where I hear it from. So, and I hear it anything that pertains to Africa. If you say anything that's pertaining to Africa that's positive, it's blackology. But when it's something pertaining to a European, it's not in the realm of whiteology. It's in a realm of right and exact. Every time something is mentioned about Africa positive, it's blackology. That's all I hear from the Pseudo Killer. That's where the term, that's where I got to hear the term from. I've been confused on it for so long, but that's
trying to help you out right now, though.
Go ahead.
So when they watch this, I'm gonna use another example. when a Hebrew, Muslim, Christian tried to make the Quran with the cloud of blood, and they use the cloud of blood and all that, and try to make it evolution, right? That's herbology. Oh, do you get that? That's not legit. Simple as that, bro. No more than when a Hebrew claims that, well, and the earth was formed, boho and toho, that's formed and devoid of, no, boom, dude, that's not scientific. That's not
Never
it.
said it was.
Oh, but hold on, Ben. When we sit up on a panel and say they're calling this, but the thing is, the blackology is to say that someone is denying the African worldview. No one is denying the African worldview.
You said I said that. I was asking. That's why I was asking.
Yes.
Are we equating? Are we equating
No, we're not.
African agency? That's why I said it was. Was
No,
there a question mark in what I asked?
Okay, so African agency is, of course, Africans should have agency. And if they don't want to call it religion, they don't got to call it religion because they have African agency. To the point where you wrote a book, Kofi, which I have. So that is not a problem. The problem is when you say that, why he's going against, I'm not going against the worldview. I'm simply doing what I always do. I'm separating science, and Ben will say, we're not going to say science, from the African worldview.
Ken would say that there was no separation in the culture, but you don't listen to me. So that's what that is.
I know, but Ben, but that was the problem. They didn't separate it.
No, that's your problem.
No, that was the problem.
That's not no people's problem.
Ben, that was the
that's
problem.
That's your damn problem. How you gonna tell them people they problem with their culture?
I'm saying that was the problem, yo.
That's arrogant as shit.
That's not arrogant. That was the problem.
Bullshit. You gonna tell them people
it's not that. That's not it, Ben. That's not it, Ben.
It is.
Ben, what I'm saying
is exactly what it is. That's the problem.
So you think you can mix? So all right, let me ask you this, Ben. So you actually think?
I actually think that their society was a lot better than ours. That's what I think.
Hold on, Ben. So you actually
and however they did it and achieved it,
Ben, so you actually saying that in the Nile Valley they wasn't trying to separate science from religion?
We weren't talking about the Nile Valley.
Okay, so
the claims didn't come from the Nile Valley.
Okay, so I'm saying the fact that it wasn't separated,
you don't listen
in traditional religion is where the problem always
I don't know
arises.
what African traditional religion is. I don't know what that is.
All right, so now y'all see what it is.
Okay. I don't know what that is because I don't support acute white supremacy.
Right. I don't know what African traditional religion is neither. I don't know what that is.
So y'all do get my point now. So now we playing.
No, I don't get your point, and
now
we might as well just end the show.
Yeah, let's end the show. You get my point, though, right, Kofi? What I'm saying.
You saying that y'all use? I don't know, man.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about today. I'm saying if just because I say that African cosmology does not match up with the Big Bang and is not scientific. That doesn't mean I'm not allowing. Come on, Ben. You keep saying that though, Ben.
I don't know why you keep saying it.
I keep saying it because I'm trying to figure out then why is you matching the two ideas together then?
Because I think because they similar. They have similar.
No,
you know what I'm
saying?
I'm saying
it doesn't have to be pinpoint.
I'm saying it is.
So
y'all messing up. Hold on. So y'all messing it up then.
No, you just don't understand the story. We don't care to know.
Are we not?
I'm not saying it's science, right, Ben? If it's not science, then why are you comparing apples to oranges then? What's the point of that? Because it makes confusion. And if I say it don't mean that I'm anti. It's confusion.
I never said you was anti anything.
No. When a person says that
did I say you was anti something?
No. When a person says,
did I say you was anti something?
That you're not allowing the Africans to have their worldview. That is.
Did I say that?
No, you ain't say that. But
well, you got to direct that question to somebody else.
We're gonna play this. So now
I didn't say you was anti anything.
Come on, Ben. You might even
never said that.
I never said you said that, Ben.
All
But
right,
you keep
then
hollering out
that question to somebody else.
Ben, but you keep hollering out. You keep hollering out. We not saying it's science.
Because we
Why I keep saying that,
did.
Ben? What's the point of saying it though, Ben?
Because we are comparing what they got right and what they got wrong.
And I'm saying they ain't getting none of it right.
And I'm saying that's full of shit.
And I'm saying that's some bullshit if you say
all
it
right,
ain't.
then that's where we meet. And that's where we separate. And I ain't coming off of it, and you ain't coming off. So it ain't no need of you coming on here hollering, screaming, whatever.
I'm not hollering.
Because we not going to agree on that.
You don't got to agree on that, Ben. I'm just
okay. Then let's quit talking about it.
Okay, but I'm making a point, Ben, that to keep hollering about it's not science. So if it's not science, then how they reach their conclusion? Then
we never said we knew that.
Right. Don't back out of it now, though, Ben.
It ain't backing out. It's the same shit I've been saying the entire time. And I even said I don't care how they came to the conclusion.
But okay, so then if you don't care the conclusion, so why you pop back on then, Ben?
Because the shit getting out of goddamn control, we need to end the broadcast. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Kofi, where you at? The blackology is when I continually hear people say or laughing and joking that, oh, he's not understanding. Y'all not allowed to have their worldview. Wait a minute, bro. Africans are allowed to have agency and worldview.
All right, man.
Can I ask a question though?
But what they can't do is,
I'm in it now, man.
All right, man. We out.
What you can't do is you can't